Chapter 4763. Lin Feng! Are you trying to be my enemy by trapping me here? Murong Yuxuan looked at Lin Feng and said. Lin Feng couldn't help but smile coldly. What? Aren't we already on the opposite side? Is it because I saved young Master Xianzong? If I save young Master Xianzong, it will only benefit you. If you kill young Master Xianzong, you'll be offending the faction behind him. This is extremely disadvantageous for you, Murong Yuxuan said. Hee, you really think too highly of yourself, Lin Feng sneered. I'm just speaking the truth, Murong Yuxuan said. One had to admit that this woman's ego was too good, Lin Feng said indifferently. Some people think they're the center of the world, but they don't know that they're pitiful when they have such thoughts. Today, no matter what you say, you're destined to be my prisoner. Lin Feng, you're too full of yourself. Do you think you can defeat me? Since I'm able to stand out among countless people and become one of the 10 fairies, it's enough to prove that I have some amazing means. Murong Yuxuan's voice turned cold. She was obviously very confident in herself. Of course. Murong Yuxuan's confidence was very reasonable and also very well-founded. This was because Murong Yuxuan was very strong. No one dared to underestimate Murong Yuxuan's strength. Although she was very young and was also a woman, the world of cultivation was dominated by the strong. However, the world of cultivators was a world where the strong were respected. Men might not necessarily be stronger than women. Obviously. There weren't many men who could compare to Murong Yuxuan. Murong Yuxuan didn't want to fight with Lin Feng and the others here. She was destined to be restricted by Lin Feng's formation. Therefore, she wanted to leave Lin Feng's place as soon as possible. Murong Yuxuan quickly rushed outside. A short blade appeared in her hand. The power of that dagger was extremely strong. In the void. She waved it lightly. It seemed to be able to cut through the void. The might was so great that it made people involuntarily feel their hair stand on end. As one of the top 10 fairies and also the successor of the Divine King Valley, Murong Yuxuan naturally had a lot of powerful magic treasures on her. With the short blade in her hand, she slashed at the restrictions around her. Puff! The sound of something tearing could be heard. The power of the short blade in Murong Yuxuan's hand was very terrifying. It actually tore apart many restrictions. This caused Lin Feng to reveal a trace of surprise. This woman was really difficult to deal with. If he allowed her to continue using the dagger in her hand to cut the restriction here, he would be able to kill her. Perhaps it wouldn't take long. The restriction here would be completely destroyed. This situation was naturally not what Lin Feng wanted to see. Lin Feng hurriedly took out his Hou Yi bow and sun-slaying divine arrows. Then, he began to draw his bow. Whoosh! Along with the violent sound of breaking through the air, the shooting sun divine arrow flew out again and shot towards Murong Yuxuan. After Lin Feng broke through to the loose immortal realm, Lin Feng's battle strength had greatly soared. And after Lin Feng activated his Hou Yi bow and shooting sun divine arrow, the battle strength that erupted was no longer the same as before. Therefore, when the shooting sun divine arrow shot over, Murong Yuxuan felt the power of the shooting sun divine arrow. Her pretty face couldn't help but become extremely unsightly. Because the shooting sun divine arrow was really too powerful. It made her have a kind of creepy feeling. Facing the extremely terrifying attack of the shooting sun divine arrow, Murong Yuxuan held the short blade in her hand and slashed towards the shooting sun divine arrow. Clang! Along with the violent sound of collision, the short blade in Murong Yuxuan's hand collided with the shooting sun divine arrow that shot towards her. The shooting sun divine arrow deviated from its direction. But Murong Yuxuan's entire body was sent flying by the powerful recoil. Moreover, the short blade in her hand directly flew out of her hand. The power of Lin Feng's arrow just now was really too powerful. It caused Murong Yuxuan's arm to tremble violently. Her face also became very pale. At the same time, Lin Feng activated the Great Array. The Great Array that was previously arranged here released all kinds of attacks towards Murong Yuxuan. Immeasurable Taoists took out a mysterious golden bell. He held the golden copper bell in his hand. Then it shook. Ding ding dang dang. The golden copper bell emitted a strange collision sound. That kind of collision sound was very crisp and pleasing to the ear. When she heard that strange collision sound, Murong Yushuan's pretty face became even paler. Soul attack. Murong Yushuan's face was extremely ugly. Obviously, the soul attack released by the golden copper bell of Wuliang Taoist was very powerful. So, Murong Yushuan found it quite difficult to resist. Of course, Murong Yushuan's means were still quite tyrannical. Soon, she blocked the attack of the copper bell. It was just that this involved a lot of Murong Yushuan's energy. Duzu displayed a powerful poison technique. A colorless and odorless poisonous gas spread out. After this poisonous gas was inhaled into the body, his body would become soft and limp. At that time, the body would lose its combat power. Evil Dominator Saint condensed out many In Corpse hands. In the void, the Densine Corpse hands grabbed towards Murong Yushuan. The two great ghost emperors joined forces to summon a ghost army. The war drums beat. The ghost army quickly charged towards Murong Yushuan. After Lin Feng and the others joined forces, they could complement each other's weaknesses. Therefore, after they joined forces, the combat power that erupted would be very terrifying. Murong Yushuan knew that her situation was very dangerous. She didn't dare to be careless. Murong Yushuan directly took out the supreme treasure, the chart of the God King. This was a heaven-defying treasure. After Murong Yushuan took out the chart of the God King, this supreme treasure quickly grew bigger and floated above Murong Yushuan, shaking out waves of destructive waves. When many attacks swept over, the chart of the God King suddenly shook. All the attacks were broken by the chart of the God King. A formless power spread out from the chart of the God King. Even Lin Feng, Taoist Wu Liang, Du Zhu, Evil Dominator Saint, and the two great ghost emperors were forced to retreat by the formless power. What a terrifying attack! Lin Feng's face couldn't help but reveal a serious expression. The chart of the God King was indeed too terrifying. Even he could not help but feel shocked by the shockwave of the attack. Lin Feng, I'll remember you. Don't worry, I won't let you go. Murong Yushuan looked coldly at Lin Feng. Then, she jumped onto the chart of the God King. The chart of the God King quickly flew out. Chapter 4764. How could Lin Feng let Murong Yushuan go so easily? If he let her get away successfully, he would definitely be able to do it. That would be letting the tiger return to the mountain. This point, Lin Feng was naturally very clear about it. Therefore, Lin Feng had long been prepared. When Murong Yushuan wanted to borrow the power of the God King chart to tear the array and rush out, suddenly, the surrounding void, they actually started to overlap each other. Lin Feng had not only used the way of space, he had also set up a space array. The space array was also a top-notch array passed down from the Celestial Master Taoist. This kind of array was very difficult to set up. But ever since he broke through to the scattered immortal realm, Lin Feng was no longer the same as before. Therefore, he successfully set up a space array. Lin Feng's way of space and the space array perfectly fused together, and immediately displayed an incomparably astonishing effect. When the power of the space array and the way of space erupted, the distorted space around them made them feel dizzy. They wanted to rush out of the distorted and overlapping space. It was too difficult. It was almost impossible to accomplish. At the very least, time was needed. Only then would it be possible to do this. And the current Murong Yushuan happened to need time the most, but she didn't have that much time to break the distorted and overlapping space. So, Murong Yushuan was repelled by the distorted and overlapping space. Taoist! Take out your sacred artifact, Lin Feng said. No problem. Immeasurable Taoist nodded. This guy had obtained the brass cauldron before. So, he took out the brass cauldron. In fact, Lin Feng suspected that Immeasurable Taoist had other sacred artifacts on him. However, Immeasurable Taoist didn't take it out, and Lin Feng couldn't let immeasurable Taoists take out all his trump cards. The brass cauldron quickly grew bigger, and then crashed towards Murong Yushuan. It was like an immemorial divine mountain. It could instantly shatter all obstacles. Lin Feng first took out the Bell of Hell King, and then took out the 5 stone swords. The Bell of Hell King was also a sacred artifact-level treasure. It was extremely strong. As Lin Feng broke through to the unorthodox celestial realm, the power of the Hell King's bell was getting stronger and stronger. Dong 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 dong, the Hell King bell let out a series of terrifying chimes. Meanwhile, waves of death energy surged out from the Hell King bell. Those ripples of death. All of them were heading towards Murong Yushuan. Under Lin Feng's control, the 5 stone swords transformed into 5 sword beams. His speed was as fast as lightning. It was ridiculously powerful. As for Lin Feng himself, he wielded the Ho Yi Bao and Sun shot divine arrows. Then, draw the bow and shoot an arrow. A whooshing sound was heard. The sun-shooting divine arrow turned into a dazzling arrow light. They quickly shot towards Murong Yushuan. Du Zhu, Evil Lord Saint, 2 Ghost Emperors. They also used their ultimate moves. Especially Du Zhu. Previously, when he broke through to the celestial immortal realm, his myriad poisons had already completed its evolution. Let alone now? Now, he was much stronger than before. Du Zhu directly took out the myriad poisons. The poison that blotted out the sky enveloped Murong Yushuan. Lin Feng, you've gone too far, Murong Yushuan said coldly. Her hands quickly formed a series of hand seals. The fluctuations from the God King's chart also became stronger and stronger. She was awakening the power of the God King's chart. Lin Feng sneered and said, "The world of cultivators is a world where the strong preys on the weak. How can you say that I've gone too far? As one of the top 10 fairies, you can't even see through this? If that's the case, then it's really disappointing." Hearing Lin Feng's words, Murong Yushuan's face became even uglier. Murong Yushuan also knew that there was no possibility of reconciliation between her and Lin Feng. So at this moment, she could only use all her strength to break out of the encirclement. The power of the God King's chart was awakened by Murong Yushuan. "I am the God King, suppressing the world!" A majestic voice resounded between heaven and earth. A powerful creature appeared above the God King's chart. That creature was tall and big, mighty and extraordinary. He seemed to be an ancient God King. When he appeared, the aura of the God King's chart continued to rise. Obviously, the power of the God King's chart had greatly increased since the appearance of that powerful creature. At this moment, the God King's chart suddenly rotated in the void. Every time it spun, it swept out an extremely terrifying power. Clang! 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 A series of clanging sounds of collision rang out. Sunshot divine arrow, brass furnace, stone sword, and other treasures were all swept away by the God King's chart after colliding with it. The power of the God King's chart. It was really shocking and moving. And the terrifying power that surged out of the God King's chart dispersed the poison that blotted out the sky and the Yin corpse hand condensed by evil honorable saint. And the ghost army summoned by the 2 ghost emperors. The reason why the God King's chart was so terrifying was related to Murong Yushuan. Murong Yushuan had been blood refining the God King's chart for many years. And she had obtained the recognition of the God King's chart. Therefore, Murong Yushuan could release the power of the God King's chart. Lin Feng's Hell King's bell, Ho Yi's bow, Sunshot divine arrow, and stone sword could only release a small part of their power. Wu Liang Taoist's brass furnace was the same. After all, he had just obtained the brass furnace not long ago. Naturally, it was not an easy task to release the power of the brass furnace to such a large extent. "Lin Feng! You guys can't do it! You're far from it!" said Murong Yushuan proudly. It was no wonder that she was so proud. She was fighting against Lin Feng and the others alone, but she was still able to do so easily. It was indeed something to be proud of. But soon Murong Yushuan's face turned pale. Poison, poison, how is this possible? Wasn't the poison dispelled by the God King's chart? Murong Yuxuan's pretty face turned ugly. Lin Feng's face was slightly happy. It seemed that Du Zhu's supreme poison technique was effective. Hee hee. How can my myriad poison be dispelled so easily? Du Zhu immediately laughed. Despicable, despicable. You actually used poison, Murong Yuxuan said furiously. Lin Feng said. Du Zhu used poison openly. You also tried to dispel it, but you didn't have the ability to do so. Don't you think it's ridiculous to say that we're despicable? Moreover, the Tao of Poison is recorded in the 3,000 Great Taos. Since the Tao of Poison is one of the 3,000 Great Taos, how can using the Tao of Poison recorded in the 3,000 Great Taos be considered despicable? At this point, Chapter 4765. What kind of person was Murong Yuxuan? The high and mighty goddess of heaven. One of the 10 great fairies of the undying realm. She had countless suitors. Countless people worshipped her as a goddess. Now, Lin Feng actually said that he wanted to take her in as a concubine or even a female slave, which naturally made Murong Yuxuan extremely angry. However, Murong Yuxuan knew that her situation was extremely bad, and the poison in her body was rapidly spreading. Although this poison would not harm her life, but it would temporarily cause Murong Yuxuan's body to lose its fighting strength. Fortunately, she was still able to suppress this poison, so Murong Yuxuan's fighting strength was still there. If she was unable to suppress this poison, then she would really become a fish on the chopping board. Murong Yuxuan simply did not dare to imagine what kind of terrifying thing would happen if she fell into Lin Feng's hands. Murong Yuxuan no longer paid attention to Lin Feng, she began to chant an incantation. After Murong Yuxuan chanted the incantation, suddenly, the God King's diagram wrapped around Murong Yuxuan. Following that, the God King's diagram wrapped around Murong Yuxuan and rushed outside. A shocking scene unfolded before everyone's eyes. The God King's diagram actually began to shuttle through the distorted and overlapping space. This scene was truly inconceivable. After all, the distorted and overlapping space was condensed from Lin Feng's Tao of Space and the Space Great Formation. Previously, the God King's diagram was repelled, but now, the God King's diagram was actually able to shuttle through the distorted and overlapping space. This explained one thing. And that was, at this very moment, the power of the God King's diagram had been activated by Murong Yuxuan to the greatest extent that Murong Yuxuan could activate it. Its power was many times stronger than before. That was why it was able to shuttle through the overlapping distorted space. Swish. Lin Feng disappeared without a trace. The next moment, Lin Feng appeared in front of Murong Yuxuan and the God King's diagram. He blocked Murong Yuxuan's reason to leave. Then, Lin Feng used the sacred art, emptiness of all ages. This was the supreme technique of the human clan in the previous era. Now, it was used by Lin Feng. Behind Lin Feng, mysterious worlds actually appeared one after another. The worlds were being destroyed one after another. The void of all ages was a very special ability. In the midst of the disillusionment, endless vitality appeared. In the midst of the endless vitality, the desolation of an era appeared again. The beginning of life and reincarnation. Birth and death. They were all revealed in this divine ability. As such, when Lin Feng used that skill, he was astonished. Lin Feng felt an inconceivable power from this divine ability. The power of this divine ability was all concentrated on Lin Feng's fist. Lin Feng punched the chart of the God King. Bang! In an instant, Lin Feng and the God King chart collided violently. Lin Feng was sent flying by the God King diagram. However, the God King chart was also sent flying by Lin Feng's punch. Murong Yuxuan, who was wrapped in the God King's diagram, became increasingly pale. At this moment, Taoist Wu Liang controlled the brass cauldron and swept it fiercely at the God King's chart. Puff! Murong Yuxuan could no longer hold on and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Her face became as pale as paper. and Lin Feng could clearly feel that Murong Yushuan's Fa Li was rapidly fading. Without the support of Fa Li, the power of the God King's chart also began to quickly converge. Murong Yushuan! It seems that you are determined to be my slave. I am very interested in training a slave like you. Lin Feng walked towards Murong Yushuan step by step. Murong Yushuan's face was extremely ugly. She knew that the situation was hopeless. Next, she would definitely be suppressed by Lin Feng. As such, Murong Yushuan began to chant an incantation. When he saw Murong Yushuan chanting the incantation, Lin Feng felt that something might happen. He had to stop Murong Yushuan. A thought emerged in Lin Feng's mind. Thinking of this, Lin Feng rushed towards Murong Yushuan. He wanted to stop Murong Yushuan. But Lin Feng failed. By the time Lin Feng wanted to stop Murong Yushuan, it was already too late. The incantation fell. Murong Yushuan's body turned into a ray of divine light and flew into the God King's chart. The power of the God King's chart was completely converged and became ordinary. However, Lin Feng knew how extraordinary the God King's chart was. Right now, the God King's chart was only temporarily silent. He grabbed the God King's chart in his hand. Then, he opened the God King's chart and looked at it. On the God King's chart was a painting of mountains and rivers. It was a mountain range shrouded in white mist. Halfway up a mountain, there was a pavilion. And in the pavilion stood a God King. Lin Feng guessed that the godly king was probably the one who had just shown up, right? Murong Yushuan entered the God King's chart. She should have appeared on the God King's chart. Why did she disappear? Taoist Wuliang also came over. He glanced at the God King's chart and found that Murong Yushuan was not there. He could not help but feel puzzled. It is indeed strange. Lin Feng could not help but frown. Poison Ancestor asked. Is it possible that the chart of the God King has a space of its own? Is that why she hid inside the chart of the God King and disappeared? Lin Feng thought about it, and felt that this was a possibility. He nodded and said, That is indeed a possibility. Let me sense and see if I can find the inner space of the God King's chart. As soon as he said that, Lin Feng's divine sense spread out and began to search the inner space of the God King's chart. However, after searching for a while, Lin Feng did not find where the inner space of the God King's chart was. In fact, he did not even have a clue. It was extremely strange. I didn't find anything. You two try and see if you can find any clues, Lin Feng said. Next, Taoist Wuliang. Du Zhu. Heretic Sovereign Holy. The two ghost emperors tried. However, they did not find anything either. If the God King's chart really had an inner space, it was hidden very deeply. Look, Murong Yushuan has appeared. Suddenly Du Zhu spoke. He pointed at a mountain peak in the God King's chart. The God King's chart was filled with mountains. Many of the mountains were not particularly clear. Only the first mountain peak was clearer. However, Murong Yushuan was not on the first mountain peak. Lin Feng looked at the God King's chart and found that Murong Yushuan had appeared on the third mountain peak. Only a part of the third mountain peak was exposed. Most of the mountain peak was hidden. Moreover, the third mountain peak was rather blurry, so it was not very clear. This included Murong Yushuan, who appeared on the third mountain peak. He could not see it very clearly. However, he could still recognize that the woman who appeared on the third mountain peak was Murong Yushuan. At this moment, Murong Yushuan was actually sitting cross-legged on the third mountain peak. She was holding a flower with both hands, and powerful spiritual energy of heaven and earth continuously surged into her body. She was actually cultivating inside the God King's chart. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng could not help but feel that it was somewhat inconceivable. Chapter 4766. Maybe we can use the heavenly fire to burn the chart of God King. It might have a good effect. Immeasurable Taoist grinned. He thought of Lin Feng's heavenly fire. Lin Feng controlled several powerful heavenly fire. Every heavenly fire. They were all extraordinary. and the chart of God King seemed to be made of paper. Paper belonged to the wood element, and fire restrained wood. Therefore, the chart of God King was restrained by Lin Feng's heavenly fire. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Then let's try using the heavenly fire. I hope it will be effective." Then, he took out the black flame-devouring God fire. The black flame-devouring God fire enveloped the chart of God King. It began to burn. What surprised Lin Feng was that the black flame-devouring God fire was unable to ignite the chart of God King. The chart of God King was extraordinary. It was surrounded by a layer of extremely special power. It was the special power that surrounded the chart of God King. It blocked the burning of the heavenly fire. However, Lin Feng had already thought of this scene. How terrifying was a treasure like the chart of God King! If the heavenly fire could destroy the chart of God King, it was indeed very difficult. In the end, Lin Feng withdrew the heavenly fire. Du Zhu said, "Now that this woman is recovering in the chart of God King, if we don't have a way to capture her, when she recovers in the chart of God King and comes out, I'm afraid it won't be easy to deal with her." Du Zhu's worry was extremely reasonable. When Murong Yuxuan operated the chart of God King, it was indeed too terrifying. Lin Feng and the rest worked together to take down Murong Yuxuan with difficulty. From this, it could be seen how difficult it was to suppress Murong Yuxuan. Murong Yuxuan must have accumulated a lot of experience in the battle with Lin Feng and the rest. Therefore, after Murong Yuxuan recovered, it would be even more difficult to use the same method to suppress Murong Yuxuan. This was a problem that they had to face. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said, "I'll add some seals on the chart of God King and seal it. This way, it won't be easy for Murong Yuxuan to come out of the chart of God King. Then, I'll throw the chart of God King into the gourd of fortune." The reason why Murong Yuxuan could recover is because she absorbed energy from the chart of God King. And the chart of God King is unable to produce energy of heaven and earth. To put it bluntly, the chart of God King is his energy from the outside. Therefore, if the chart of God King is unable to absorb energy from the outside world, then Murong Yuxuan will not be able to recover within the chart of God King. My gourd of fortune will not only prevent the chart of God King from absorbing energy from the outside world, it will also devour the energy within the chart of God King. At that time, Murong Yuxuan will not be able to replenish her strength and will become weaker and weaker. Taoist Wu Liang said, "But what if Murong Yuxuan has a lot of immortal stones?" Lin Feng smiled and said, "The gourd of fortune will continuously devour the energy of immortal stones. The gourd of fortune itself is a bottomless pit. Therefore, even if Murong Yuxuan has a lot of immortal stones, she won't be able to last long. Those immortal stones will become nourishment for the gourd of fortune. At that time, Murong Yuxuan won't be able to get any replenishment. I'll deal with her as I wish." "That's a good idea." Taoist Wu Liang nodded. Lin Feng used the 8 seals to seal the chart of God King. Then, he took out the gourd of fortune. Then, he threw the chart of God King into the gourd of fortune. "We can't stay here for long. Let's go," Lin Feng said. Taoist Wu Liang, Du Zhu, Evil Sovereign Sage and the 2 Ghost Emperors nodded. After keeping their treasures, they left together. Some of the Sky Prides in the distance didn't leave. They hid in the forest. When they saw Lin Feng and the others fly out of the array, the Sky Pride's faces couldn't help but turn ugly. Could it be that Murong Yuxuan had been suppressed by Lin Feng and the others? That was really possible. When they thought of that, the Sky Pride's faces turned extremely gloomy. However, they didn't dare to show themselves and stop Lin Feng and the others from leaving. After Lin Feng and the others completely disappeared, the Sky Prides flew out. The group of geniuses flew out and entered the broken array. This place had long been turned into a mess due to the battle. There was no trace of Murong Yuxuan. Murong Yuxuan. She had really been suppressed by Lin Feng. She was such a delicate beauty. She had actually fallen into the hands of the enemy. One could imagine what would happen next. "Young master, why didn't you kill those guys and instead let them go?" Du Zhu asked. Lin Feng naturally knew who Du Zhu was referring to. They're just a bunch of small fries, Lin Feng said indifferently. But if you don't kill them, the news of Murong Yushuan being suppressed by young master will definitely spread. It might even attract experts, Du Zhu said. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and said, I let them go on purpose. Since I want to walk the path of supremacy, I won't be afraid of experts coming to kill me. Cultivation is difficult. The world is your enemy. Only by killing your way through the strong enemies can you achieve the path of supremacy. After Lin Feng's voice fell, his body emitted a powerful aura that seemed to fight against the heavens and the earth. That aura was Lin Feng's Tao. Although Lin Feng's Tao, it had yet to transform into the great Tao of immortals. However, the aura emitted from his path of supremacy was already very terrifying. Du Zhu and the others couldn't help but feel a sense of suffocation. The Tao of supremacy is good. You can beat the people of the major powers to a pulp while I hide in the back and dig up all the ancient tombs of the ancestors of the major powers. When the time comes, I'll definitely be able to make a fortune. Taoist Wu Liang grinned. When it came to tomb raiding, Taoist Wu Liang's eyes lit up. Lin Feng and the others didn't stop along the way. They quickly flew in the direction of Whitebone City. They planned to go to Whitebone City to gather information. While Lin Feng and the others were heading to Whitebone City, the Heavenly Court, the Crown Prince's palace, tribulation light flashed between Di Wudao's brows. He could no longer suppress the light of calamity in his glabella. Di Wudao opened his eyes. His eyes were incomparably deep, as if there were two ancient worlds floating in them. Congratulations, Crown Prince, you're about to break through to the true immortal realm. The Mirror of Future hurriedly congratulated Di Wudao. Ha ha ha, not bad, not bad. I'm finally about to break through to the true immortal realm. I've been waiting for this day for far too long. Di Wudao laughed heartily. He walked out of the Crown Prince's palace. The 9 heavens were already filled with lightning. In a sea of lightning, dragons and snakes swam about. Crown Prince Di Wudao is about to undergo his tribulation. His Highness is about to break through to the true immortal realm. The Heavenly Court. Countless cultivators looked in the direction of the Crown Prince's palace. Many couldn't help but exclaim. If Di Wudao successfully broke through, he would no longer be immortal. He would become a true immortal. Chapter 4767. Di Wudao stood in the void like an ancient god. He was so strong and so confident. All kinds of lightning bolts struck Di Wudao. But when the lightning struck Di Wudao's body trembled. But Di Wudao had easily neutralized it. Of course, he was only in the early stages of the tribulation. As time passed, the lightning bolts would become more powerful. When the time came to neutralize the lightning bolts, it would become more and more difficult. A large number of cultivators were watching Di Wudao's tribulation. The experts who followed Di Wudao were naturally excited. If Di Wudao broke through to the true immortal realm, it would be like a shot of adrenaline. It would increase the morale of the experts who followed Di Wudao. They would also be more confident in the future. As for the neutral cultivators, they were basically watching the show. But there were also many who did not want Di Wudao to successfully break through to the true immortal realm. For example, the cultivators who followed the first prince and the other princes did not want to see this scene. Di Wudao was only the third prince. Logically speaking, usually, the eldest son would inherit the throne. If the eldest son was not virtuous, the second son would inherit the throne. The Heavenly Emperor's eldest son and second son were dragons among men. They were talented and powerful. They were smart and resourceful. They were not inferior to Di Wudao. But Di Wudao was made the crown prince at a young age. The first prince and second prince, the two brothers, were in dire straits. How could the first prince and second prince be willing to accept this? In addition, the other princes were no ordinary people either. Naturally, they also wanted to get their hands on the crown prince's position. But they just could not find a chance. Even the first prince and second prince did not have a chance, let alone them. Previously, the Heavenly Emperor sent the first prince and the others to deal with Lin Feng. There was no news of the first prince and the others killing Lin Feng. Now. But they waited for news of Di Wudao breaking through to the true immortal realm. The subordinates who followed the princes were in a terrible mood. Di Wudao was indeed a powerful figure. All kinds of lightning bolts struck him, but none of them could kill him. Di Wudao spent a total of 4 months going through the true immortal tribulation. Finally, Di Wudao had successfully passed the true immortal tribulation. Next, Di Wudao swiftly returned to the Crown Prince Palace to adjust his body's condition. At the same time, he familiarized himself with the power of the true immortal stage. The news of Di Wudao breaking through to the true immortal realm spread like wildfire. This was a big deal. Di Wudao was the rightful crown prince of the heavenly court. If he broke through to the true immortal realm, almost no one could defeat him now. This naturally made the forces that followed Di Wudao extremely happy. Moreover, after this news was spread out, the number of people following Di Wudao would only continue to increase. Undying Realm. Bone City. In a huge mansion, the security was tight. This was one of the first prince's mansions in White Bone City. In the living room, there were 4 cultivators sitting there. These 4 people, each of them had sword-like eyebrows and starry eyes, looking extraordinarily heroic. The identities of these 4 people were not simple. They were the first prince, second prince, fourth prince, and 7th prince. The 4 of them had always been close. Right now, the 4 of them had ugly expressions on their faces. Because they had already received news that Di Wudao had broken through to the true immortal realm. I don't understand why Imperial Father would make a bastard like Di Wudao the crown prince, the 7th prince said with a gloomy expression. Old 7th, what nonsense are you spouting? How dare you spout nonsense like this? The first prince glared at the 7th prince. The 7th prince said, outsiders might not know, but who among us doesn't know? Rumor has it that Di Wudao is the son of his mother and his grandmaster. The 7th prince did not directly address Di Wudao by his grandmaster's name. He was one of the lords of the 33 heavens. Naturally, he could not directly address him by his name. This was a taboo. However, they all knew who the 7th prince was talking about. The first prince said in a low voice, Old 7th, don't spout nonsense like this. It's just a rumor. An expert of that level would not do such a thing. Moreover, if he really did such a thing, do you think Imperial Father would swallow his anger? I don't think Imperial Father is a person who would swallow his anger. After hearing the first prince's words, the 7th prince could not help but curl his lips in disapproval. However, he did not refute the first prince's words. After that, the second prince said, Lin Feng's whereabouts are already under our control. Should we kill him? The first prince said, Imperial Father wants to use us to get rid of Lin Feng. Is he trying to remove an obstacle for Di Wudao? We don't actually have any grudges with Lin Feng. On the contrary, the grudge between Di Wudao and Lin Feng will not end until one of us is dead. What do you mean, big brother? The 4th prince looked at the first prince and asked. Wait and see. Bide your time, the first prince said. Hearing this, the others nodded. At this moment, Lin Feng was still in the ancient Cloud Heaven forest, so he did not know that Di Wudao had broken through to the true immortal realm. Even if he knew, he would not care. So what if Di Wudao had broken through to the true immortal realm? Lin Feng would not take it to heart. When the time came, he would still kill Di Wudao. Of course, Lin Feng also knew that Di Wudao was different from ordinary cultivators. Di Wudao was able to defeat cultivators who were much stronger than him. After breaking through to the true immortal realm, he would definitely be able to do the same, right? As such, dealing with Di Wudao would be much more difficult than dealing with ordinary true immortals. However, Lin Feng had already made preparations to deal with any unexpected situations. The White Bone region was huge, and so was the ancient Cloud Heaven forest. It was vast and boundless. On this day, Lin Feng and the others were passing through a mountain range. Lin Feng suddenly had an extremely uneasy feeling. "Hurry up and dodge!" Lin Feng shouted in a low voice. Hearing Lin Feng's cold shout, everyone scattered in all directions. Just as they scattered, the area where Lin Feng and the others were originally in exploded, and even the void shattered. When they saw this, Lin Feng and the others could not help but reveal an extremely shocked expression. What a terrifying attack! They did not know who had ambushed them. Fortunately, Lin Feng had used his sudden inspiration to sense all of this in advance. Otherwise, they would have been in danger. "Who is it? Get out here!" Lin Feng shouted in a low voice. "Kid, you are quite capable. To think that you could predict that I would attack you. Even I am a little impressed by you." A sinister voice rang out. Then, a bronze coffin flew out from the void. When they saw the bronze coffin, Lin Feng and the others' expressions turned extremely ugly. The bronze coffin opened, and a cultivator walked out. That cultivator was none other than the Eternal Heaven Monarch. Chapter 4768. Lin Feng hadn't thought the Eternal Celestial Master would show up in such a place and try to kill him and his friends. The strength of the Eternal Heaven Lord went without saying. Even if Lin Feng and the others worked together, they would not be a match for the Eternal Heaven Lord. Only an expert like the goddess of weak water could possibly defeat the Eternal Heaven Lord. This was something that Lin Feng knew. Therefore, when Lin Feng saw the Eternal Heaven Lord, he knew that things were going to get troublesome. Dealing with the Eternal Heaven Lord was going to be an extremely difficult task. Therefore, there was only one way to resolve this crisis, and that was to leave this place as soon as possible. However, the Eternal Heaven Lord had already appeared. With his tyrannical cultivation, escaping from him was going to be an extremely difficult task. It was not realistic to run away directly, as they would be intercepted by the Eternal Heaven Lord. When that happened, death would still be the only way out. Lin Feng knew this very well. "Isn't this Senior Eternal Heaven Lord? What brings you here?" Lin Feng revealed a smile on his face, as if he was very familiar with the Eternal Heaven Lord. The Eternal Heaven Lord looked at Lin Feng with a mocking expression. "Kid, don't try to get close to me. You have released the goddess of weak water. You deserve to die. Today, I will kill all of you to vent the hatred in my heart." The killing intent in the Eternal Heaven Lord's heart soared. Towards Lin Feng and the others, there was nothing but killing intent. Now, Lin Feng and Immeasurable Taoist had become the targets that the Eternal Heaven Lord wanted to kill the most. Cough, cough. This is all a misunderstanding. We were blinded by greed. Senior, please spare us on account that we are young and ignorant, Immeasurable Taoist said with a smile. It's useless to beg for mercy. You are all dead today. The Eternal Heaven Lord's eyes flashed with killing intent. He quickly flew towards Lin Feng and the others, intending to kill Lin Feng and the others. Senior Goddess of Weak Water, come and help us kill the Eternal Heaven Lord. Lin Feng looked behind the Eternal Heaven Lord, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Eternal Heaven Monarch was frightened by the Weak Water Goddess. So when he heard the words Weak Water Goddess, he instinctively looked back, but where was the shadow of the Weak Water Goddess? Eternal Heaven Monarch immediately realized that he had been deceived by Lin Feng. Therefore, he became extremely angry. And at this moment, Lin Feng used the Tao of Space. He sent Taoist Wu Liang, Du Zhu, Heretic Sovereign Sage, and the two Ghost Emperors out. The reason why Lin Feng sent Immeasurable Taoist and the others out was because they were too conspicuous. Sending them out was the safest choice. That way, even if he ended up in the hands of the Eternal Heaven Monarch, the Immeasurable Taoist, and the others would be safe. As for Bibi and the others, they were too dependent on Lin Feng. Moreover, they were still in seclusion, so he couldn't send them out. After sending Immeasurable Taoist, Du Zhu, Heretic Sovereign Sage, and the two Ghost Emperors out, Lin Feng was much more confident in facing the Eternal Heaven Lord alone. Because Lin Feng had no intention of going head-to-head with the Eternal Heaven Lord. Unless he had the strength of the weak water goddess, he would be courting death if he went head to head with the eternal Heaven Lord. Lin Feng had planned to escape from the beginning. He quickly fled into the distance. And the eternal Heaven Lord chased after Lin Feng. The eternal Heaven Lord's eyes were extremely gloomy. He had just been played by Lin Feng. It was a great humiliation. The eternal Heaven Lord was so angry that he didn't even want to kill Lin Feng directly. If he killed Lin Feng directly, it would be too easy for Lin Feng. The eternal Heaven Lord planned to capture Lin Feng and torture Lin Feng. He had to torture Lin Feng to the point where he wished he was dead. Only then could he vent the hatred in his heart. The eternal Heaven Lord's speed was extremely fast. However, Lin Feng's speed was also very fast. 8 small worlds appeared beneath Lin Feng's feet. His cultivation of the 8 worlds was getting more and more profound. Therefore, the power of this sacred art was gradually showing. Lin Feng seemed to be moving through the 8 small worlds. Therefore, his speed was extremely fast. Even the eternal Heaven Lord couldn't catch up to Lin Feng. The main reason was that the eternal Heaven Lord wasn't good at speed. If he had the strength of the eternal Heaven Lord and was a cultivator who specialized in speed, he might be able to catch up to Lin Feng. However, the eternal Heaven Lord couldn't do that. Looking at the departing Lin Feng, the eternal Heaven Lord could do nothing but feel anxious. Right now, he was extremely depressed. However, no matter how depressed he was, what was the use of that? A competition of speed was purely based on one's own strength. If he couldn't catch up to Lin Feng, that could only mean that his speed wasn't good enough. Eternal Heaven Lord, you're really too slow. You're as slow as a tortoise. Yours truly is leaving first. Lin Feng shouted out to the eternal Heaven Lord, who had been shaken off. Lad, your seat has already memorized your aura. You won't be able to escape, the eternal Heaven Lord said with a grim expression. Lin Feng raised his brows. Ignoring the eternal Heaven Lord, he left hurriedly. After shaking off the eternal Heaven Lord, Lin Feng found a place to rest. However, he hadn't rested for long. To think that the eternal Heaven Lord would come chasing after him once more. Lin Feng hurriedly soared into the sky and fled into the distance. Like I said, you won't be able to escape, the eternal Heaven Lord sneered. You think that you can catch up to me? Are you daydreaming? Lin Feng replied with a cold smile. He continued fleeing and shook off the eternal Heaven Lord once more. However, just as Lin Feng was resting, the eternal Heaven Lord came chasing after him once more. Stop wasting your time. Your fate has long been sealed. You'll die in my hands. The eternal Heaven Lord glared at Lin Feng coldly as he spoke. His killing intent was extremely strong. After chasing after him multiple times, Lin Feng had shaken him off each time. This infuriated the eternal Heaven Lord immensely. Lin Feng continued soaring into the sky. By now, Lin Feng had realized that something was amiss. Why was the eternal Heaven Lord able to find him time and time again? There was clearly a reason for this. Could the eternal Heaven Lord have left some sort of mark on my body? Lin Feng thought of a possibility. He felt that the possibility of this happening was extremely high. Thus, after shaking off the eternal Heaven Lord once more, Lin Feng began to investigate his body's condition. Lin Feng's divine will was very powerful. Finally, he found a weak divine will mark on his body. If he had not searched carefully, he would not have been able to detect that weak divine will mark. It seemed that the eternal Heaven Lord had left that weak divine will mark him. In the past, the reason why the eternal Heaven Monarch had been able to find him time and time again was because of that strand of divine sense imprint. Lin Feng hurriedly erased the divine will mark that the eternal Heaven Lord had left on him. Then, he quickly left the place. At the same time, 30 li away, the eternal Heaven Lord could not help but roar furiously. Damn it! Damn it! That little bastard actually erased my divine will mark. Lin Feng, you little bastard! I won't let you off. Sooner or later I'll catch you. When that time comes, I'll cut you into pieces. Cut you into pieces. Chapter 4769. Lin Feng did not see the hysterical roar of the Eternal Heaven Monarch. If Lin Feng saw it, he would definitely mock him. Now, Lin Feng was resting comfortably on a big tree. He had been chased by the Eternal Heaven Monarch for such a long time. Lin Feng was tired out. Fortunately, he had finally gotten rid of the Eternal Heaven Monarch. Lin Feng held a spirit fruit in his hand. He would take a bite of it from time to time. It tasted pretty good. I wonder how Taoist Wu Liang and the others are doing? I'd better go to White Bone City and meet up with them. Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. At this moment, a female cultivator flew over from afar. The female cultivator was tall and looked rather young. Her skin was fair and her face was very beautiful. Especially her straight and slender jade-like legs, it was hard to look away. The female cultivator looked behind her from time to time, as if she was hiding from something. Her beautiful face looked a little pale at this moment. Lin Feng was lying on a tree branch, surrounded by dense branches. Therefore, the female cultivator did not notice Lin Feng. The female cultivator quickly jumped up the tree. At this moment, Lin Feng saw a dozen cultivators flying over from afar. They were still some distance away from here. In addition, the forest was filled with all kinds of vines and weeds. Those cultivators should not have noticed this female cultivator. The female cultivator just happened to arrive on the tree branch Lin Feng was resting on. After jumping up, she saw Lin Feng sitting on the tree branch and eating a spirit fruit. At first, he was shocked. Then, she made a gesture to keep quiet. She signaled Lin Feng to keep quiet. Lin Feng obediently cooperated with the female cultivator. Not long after, the group of cultivators who were chasing the female cultivator quickly flew over. This woman is really good at hiding, one of the cultivators said with a gloomy expression. She must be nearby. I saw her running here just now, another cultivator said. We must capture her. If we capture her, we will have made a great contribution, the third cultivator said. Everyone, split up and search. Even if we have to dig 3 feet into the ground, we must find this woman, the leading cultivator said coldly. Yes, sir, the rest of the cultivators replied, and the group of cultivators dispersed. He began to search for the woman beside Lin Feng. At this moment, Lin Feng was very close to this woman. He could even smell the extremely pleasant scent of this woman's body, fragrance. This woman's exquisite and beautiful face gave people the feeling of first love. She was really pure and moving. The leading cultivator was about 20 meters away from Lin Feng and the woman. Therefore, the woman did not dare to make a sound. The leader probably didn't expect that the woman they were looking for was hiding in a tree not far behind him. At this time, Lin Feng pointed behind the woman. The woman was a little puzzled. She turned her head and saw a 10-centimeter-long, green poisonous snake hanging on a tree branch. It was looking at her with its forked tongue. That was the poisonous green bamboo snake. It was a poisonous snake that could kill at the sight of blood. Its toxicity was very terrifying. It was enough to be ranked in the top 10 of the poisonous snake list. Generally, women were afraid of snakes, rats, and insects. Not to mention it was a poisonous snake. So, when she saw that the green bamboo snake was right behind her, and it was sticking out its forked tongue, ready to pounce and bite her at any time, the woman was so scared that her face turned pale. She almost screamed out loud. Fortunately, she covered her red lips in time. Almost instinctively, her body moved forward, wanting to open up the distance between her and the green bamboo snake. So, the woman directly threw herself into Lin Feng's arms. What's going on? Lin Feng was dumbfounded. He was just resting here. A beautiful woman threw herself at him? Happiness came too suddenly, right? A beautiful woman in his arms, warm and soft. But Lin Feng did not have any romantic thoughts, because the green bamboo snake had already flown over and opened its mouth to bite Lin Feng. Lin Feng grabbed the green bamboo snake 7 inches. He told the green bamboo snake not to make a sound. Swoosh, 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 the cultivators who went out to search for the woman's whereabouts all flew over. So the woman lay in Lin Feng's arms and did not dare to move. She was afraid of attracting the attention of those people. However, she found that Lin Feng's embrace was quite warm. The feeling of lying here. It was really quite comfortable. But soon, the woman's pretty face became rosy. What time was it? She was still thinking about these things? Sir, we didn't find anything, a group of cultivators said. The leading cultivator's expression was gloomy. His gaze looked at the surrounding towering trees. It seemed that they had not searched here yet. He was about to give the order to search. In the distance, a figure quickly flew into the distance. His speed was simply too fast. Over there, chase, the leading cultivator said in a deep voice. He could not see very clearly, but he could vaguely see a figure disappearing into the forest. The group of people quickly chased after it. Actually, that figure was an incarnation condensed by Lin Feng using the spiritual qi of heaven and earth. He used it to lure these people away. Otherwise, these cultivators would have definitely found him and the beauty in his arms. Now that the beauty was in his arms, what a beautiful scene. It was a pity that it was destroyed by others. Did they leave? The woman asked softly. No, they didn't leave. Lie down for a while more, Lin Feng said. Humph, you lied to me. I clearly heard them leave. The woman stood up and looked outside. Indeed, she did not see those cultivators. The woman immediately looked at Lin Feng angrily. She wanted to punch Lin Feng directly. But fortunately, she suppressed her anger in time. They just left, Lin Feng said. Hooligan. The woman snorted. Thank you for the compliment. Lin Feng grinned. The woman rolled her eyes. How could this guy be so shameless? Then, Lin Feng took out a jar of wine. Then, he pulled out the cork and stuffed the poisonous snake inside. What are you doing? The woman asked in confusion. Soaking the wine, Lin Feng said. You actually used the green bamboo leaf to soak the wine? You're really a pervert, and an extremely ignorant guy. You only need to drink a small sip and you'll definitely be poisoned to death, the woman said. Lin Feng laughed and said, You don't understand. After the poisonous snake is soaked in the wine, the poison will fuse into the wine and then have a special reaction with the wine. The wine will become more and more mellow, and it's not poisonous. After drinking it, you'll definitely be full of energy. At this point, Lin Feng carefully sized up the delicate beauty in front of him. What are you looking at? Have you never seen a beauty before? This woman was obviously a shrewish person. She snorted lightly, then glared fiercely at Lin Feng, and then jumped down from the tree. Chapter 4770. The beauty had already left, but her fragrance still lingered. Everyone liked beautiful things. So, normally speaking, everyone preferred beautiful women, regardless of whether it was men or women. It was like this. Lin Feng didn't know that woman's name, but since she had already left, Lin Feng wouldn't think too deeply about this matter. He would just treat it as a beautiful encounter. To be able to meet such a beauty, it was a pretty good experience. Lin Feng continued to lean against the tree and rest. He wanted to conserve his energy. At the same time, he needed to quickly adjust his body to its peak condition. Lin Feng had been thinking about the matter of the Bone Hall. He didn't know if he could find any information about it in Bone City. He had indeed promised the python to help it find ancient god Taihao's head. Then, one day, when he went to the Divine Mist Mountain again, he would bring ancient god Taihao's head back to the Divine Mist Mountain. But if he couldn't find the Bone Hall, then he couldn't be blamed for this matter. Lin Feng had always believed in one sentence. As long as he tried. Success or failure. Everything was up to fate. After resting, Lin Feng continued on his journey. 3 days later. Heavy rain poured down. Lin Feng was taking shelter from the rain in a cave. In the rain, he saw a woman. Her face was pale. She seemed to be injured. When he saw her face, Lin Feng was extremely shocked. This was because this woman was actually that female cultivator with a somewhat fierce temper he had seen a few days ago. When this woman left, Lin Feng thought that he would never have a chance to meet her again. But who would have thought that he would see her again in just a few days? But this woman's injuries weren't light. It seemed that she had been found by those people and had been injured by them. She wondered if the other party was after her beauty, or if they were after something else. In truth, it wasn't necessarily a good thing for a woman to be too beautiful. In a world where the strong preyed on the weak, many powerful cultivators treated beautiful women as nothing more than tools to vent their lust. As such, if a woman was born too beautiful and did not have enough strength to protect herself, her fate would often be extremely tragic. Lin Feng did not call out to the female cultivator and allowed her to fly into the distance. Not long after that, over 10 cultivators came chasing after them. They were none other than the cultivators that Lin Feng had encountered earlier. These cultivators also flew past Lin Feng's cave to take shelter from the rain. At this time, Lin Feng flew out from his shelter. He then blocked the path of a group of cultivators. "Brat, what's the meaning of this? Why are you blocking our path? Are you tired of living?" When one of the cultivators saw that Lin Feng was just a young human cultivator, he immediately revealed a look of contempt. Naturally, he did not feel much respect for Lin Feng. In the other party's opinion, kill Lin Feng. Wasn't that an easy task? Lin Feng said indifferently. "You reckless fool, do you know who you are talking to?" The cultivators were slightly taken aback. Then they came back to their senses. Then this group of cultivators looked at Lin Feng with a playful expression. He was a human cultivator. He was actually so arrogant. Was he really courting death? The cultivator who was targeted by Lin Feng had a murderous look in his eyes. Lin Feng was talking to him like that in front of everybody. Obviously, he didn't put him in his eyes at all. The cultivator could not help but become extremely angry. Die! This cultivator directly rushed towards Lin Feng and soon arrived in front of Lin Feng. Then, he blasted a palm towards Lin Feng. In his opinion, Lin Feng was dead for sure. He didn't care about Lin Feng at all. It was no wonder that this cultivator did not take Lin Feng seriously. It was mainly because Lin Feng was too young. The young cultivators of the human race were far from comparable to those of the other races. Now, it seemed like Lin Feng was the only one who was extremely strong. The other party naturally did not expect that the person in front of him was the famous Lin Feng. Many races were full of disdain and contempt for the human race, because the human race was now very weak. So, many cultivators of other races added insult to injury. When they saw the human race, they could not help but want to step on them. It would be best if the human race could never rise again. And for this cultivator in front of him, killing a young human cultivator was a very normal thing. After killing Lin Feng, he would probably forget about it the next day. This was because he didn't care about killing a young human cultivator. Seeing that the powerful palm was about to hit Lin Feng, the other cultivators looked at Lin Feng as if they were looking at a dead man. In their opinion, Lin Feng was undoubtedly going to die. They were all waiting for their companion to kill Lin Feng with one palm, so that they could continue to look for the woman that their master wanted to capture. But at this moment, Lin Feng made his move. Lin Feng raised his right hand. He gently drew a line in the void. A dazzling sword she condensed and directly slashed towards the other party. The power of that sword she was extremely terrifying. That cultivator had not even recovered from his shock. His body had already been cut in half by Lin Feng's sword chi. After seeing this scene, the rest of the people's faces were suddenly filled with incomparable shock. They could not believe their eyes. Although their companion was not a top expert, he was still an expert of the human immortal realm. However, he was instantly killed by Lin Feng. This meant that Lin Feng was definitely not a simple figure. The leading cultivator said with a gloomy expression. "I didn't expect you to be such a powerful figure. But today you offended us, so you are destined to die. Set up the poisonous insect formation." After the leading cultivator finished speaking, more than a dozen cultivators dispersed. Then, They each took out some highly poisonous things. Someone took out a poisonous snake. Someone took out a poisonous insect. Someone took out a poisonous toad. The things that the group took out were all different. Those highly poisonous things spat out highly toxic poison one after another. And those highly toxic poisons quickly rushed towards Lin Feng. These people wanted to use highly toxic poisons to deal with Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression suddenly turned cold, and he said with an indifferent expression, "Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." As soon as his voice faded, Lin Feng made his move. He first blew a breath of air. Instantly, a strong wind blew. The highly toxic poison was blown away. Then, Lin Feng flicked his finger. A ray of sword chi flew out. That ray of sword chi instantly turned into more than a dozen rays of sword chi. Swoosh, 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 then. Rays of sword chi flew towards those cultivators. The expressions of the group of cultivators changed greatly. They wanted to dodge the sword chi that Lin Feng slashed out. But it was too late. Puff! 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 Chapter 4771. Clang. Along with the sound of a collision, a sonorous sound was heard. Just as the leading cultivator was about to be killed, an armor suddenly appeared on the surface of his body. And that armor protected his body. The sword chi that Lin Feng slashed out slashed on his armor. After that cultivator was sent flying. In midair, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His face revealed an incomparably shocked expression. Because the battle strength that Lin Feng displayed was really too terrifying. It was so terrifying that he couldn't help but be aghast. Such tyrannical battle strength, he didn't know how Lin Feng cultivated. After all, Lin Feng was so young, but he actually had such tyrannical battle strength. It was really too unbelievable. But all of this was real. Lin Feng was so powerful. It was so powerful that it caused others to feel despair. Seeing that this cultivator was not killed, Lin Feng wanted to go up and suppress this cultivator, and then interrogate him about something. But at this moment, Lin Feng's body swayed slightly. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. He was poisoned. Previously, Lin Feng thought that he had blown away the poison. But now it seemed he only blew away a part of the poison, and the remaining poison was hidden very deeply, and was not blown away by the breath that he just blew out. Now, the poison had erupted. That was why he felt waves of dizziness. The leading cultivator obviously also saw that Lin Feng's current situation was quite bad. His face suddenly revealed a ferocious expression. "Kid, go to hell!" Not only did this cultivator not take advantage of this opportunity to escape, but he also took out a huge sword. Holding the huge sword in his hand, he swept towards Lin Feng, and then stabbed at Lin Feng. He wanted to seize this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to stab Lin Feng to death. But at this moment, the white jade toad flew out of time and space. The white jade toad croaked a few times. It began to absorb the poison in Lin Feng's body. Of course, the white jade toad also needed some time to absorb the poison in Lin Feng's body. However, although it was impossible to immediately absorb all the poison in Lin Feng's body, it still absorbed a part of it. After the white jade toad absorbed a portion of the poison, Lin Feng felt much better. The dizziness also lessened a lot. Lin Feng flicked his finger. It directly bounced off the opponent's huge sword. A powerful shockwave rippled out, and the cultivator was sent flying. The giant sword in his hand flew out of his hand. Lin Feng stepped forward and suppressed the cultivator. "Spare my life! Spare my life! It's my dog eyes that failed to recognize Mount Tai and offended young master. Please spare my dog life!" After being suppressed by Lin Feng, the leading cultivator immediately began begging for mercy. He didn't want to die. He wanted to live. In the face of life, what was dignity? This guy was definitely a despicable person. "Why are you chasing that woman?" Lin Feng asked. "If young master doesn't kill me, I'll tell young master," the cultivator said. Lin Feng said indifferently, "Do you think you're qualified to bargain with me? I have 1,000 ways to make you talk. Do you want to try? Hearing Lin Feng's words, the cultivator's body couldn't help but tremble. Before getting Lin Feng's promise to let him go, he actually didn't want to talk. But he didn't dare to not talk. He knew that if he didn't say anything, this ridiculously young but extremely terrifying young human cultivator would definitely use extremely terrifying methods to torture him. But if he took the initiative to cooperate, after obediently speaking, the other party was happy. When the time came, he would beg for mercy, maybe he would have a chance to live. Thinking of this, the cultivator said, "The reason why we're chasing that woman is because..." But, just as he said this, his body suddenly trembled violently. Then, he fell to the ground and breathed his last. Lin Feng checked and couldn't help but frown slightly. This cultivator had been restricted by someone. So, when he was about to reveal those secrets, he was sensed by the restrictions. Those restrictions were automatically triggered. They killed this cultivator. This kind of thing was relatively common in the world of cultivators. Especially those big forces. In order to keep all kinds of secrets, they would impose restrictions on their disciples. These people should be from a certain big force. But Lin Feng didn't know which force they were from. However, Lin Feng guessed that these people should be from an extremely powerful, poison sect. Because when they dealt with him previously, they set up the so-called poison array. Every single one of them brought out extremely powerful poisons. To cultivate those poisonous creatures, they needed a method. It was difficult for ordinary people to raise those poisonous creatures. Moreover, even if he could raise those poisonous creatures, it would be very difficult for him to raise their cultivation. But the other party was able to do this. This meant that the force behind them must have a complete set of methods to cultivate those poisonous creatures. Or else, it was impossible for everyone's poisonous creatures to be so powerful. Lin Feng put away these people's storage rings. Then, he took out the sky fire and burned the bodies of these cultivators to ashes. Lin Feng didn't stay and left the place of battle. At this time, the rain had stopped. Lin Feng found a place. His spiritual will invaded the storage rings of those cultivators. Inside the storage rings, Lin Feng found a lot of things, including all kinds of poisons, poisonous insects, poisonous grass, poisonous snakes, and so on. However, the various poisonous insects and poisonous creatures that these people cultivated were far inferior to the few spirit insects or insect swarms that Lin Feng cultivated. What is this? In the storage ring of the leading cultivator, Lin Feng found a very special thing. That thing. It was something that looked like a beehive. But Lin Feng felt that it was not simple. He took out the beehive-like thing. Then he held it in his hand and observed it. It was the first time Lin Feng had seen such a thing, but it was obviously not a beehive. He didn't know what material it was made of. It felt extremely cold to the touch. Because he didn't know what it was, Lin Feng decided to put it away for the time being. However, at this moment, Lin Feng discovered the Demon King insect was emitting a violent fluctuation. When he felt the fluctuation from the Demon King insect, Lin Feng's face revealed a shocked expression. Could it be that the Demon King insect was emitting fluctuations because of this beehive-like thing? If that was the case, then this beehive-like thing might be able to help the Demon King insect complete its evolution. Thinking of this, Chapter 4772. The Devil King insect was an extremely heaven-defying insect. Once it grew up, its strength was not inferior to Emperor Archaic. Therefore, Lin Feng was looking forward to the Devil King insect. He had always hoped that the Devil King insect could grow up quickly. But the growth of the Devil King insect was very difficult. In fact, the stronger the creature, the more difficult it would be to grow up. Bibi, Blackie, Xiaolong, Emperor Archaic, and the ancient ancestor insect were all like this. The Devil King insect was the same. The Devil King insect had already completed its first evolution. And some time ago, the Devil King insect had been in seclusion. It was to evolve again. However, after the Demon King bug tried a few times, it ended in failure. The main thing was that it lacked some opportunities. In other words, it lacked something to support itself to complete the transformation. The Devil King insect quickly flew out and laid on top of the beehive-shaped thing. Then, he took a bite out of it. Gotcha! A large piece of the beehive-shaped thing was bitten off by the Devil King insect. The Devil King insect wolfed it down. It directly swallowed that piece of thing. It seemed that this thing could really make the Devil King insect transform. Although Lin Feng did not know what it was. However, as long as it could make the Devil King insect complete its transformation, there was no need to find out what this thing was. Lin Feng gently stroked the Devil King insect. This little guy suddenly let out a burst of excited cries. Looking at it, it seemed to be eating quite happily. The Devil King insect's eating speed was extremely fast. A piece of beehive-sized thing was quickly eaten by the Devil King insect. After eating that thing, dense runes appeared on the surface of the Devil King insect's body. Those runes contained extremely violent energy fluctuations. The Devil King insect was refining those things. Lin Feng originally thought that the Devil King insect would need some time to refine those things it ate. But the actual situation was obviously beyond Lin Feng's expectations. The Devil King insect refined those things extremely quickly. It did not take long. Those things were refined by the Devil King insect. Those things turned into the purest energy. The Devil King insect's body emitted waves of violent fluctuations. After feeling the violent fluctuation, Yi Zichen was shocked. Lin Feng's face lit up. It seemed like the Devil King bug was really going to transform. The thing that the Devil King insect ate was truly extraordinary. It was actually able to allow the Devil King bug to quickly complete its transformation. Once the transformation was completed, the Devil King insect's combat power would be greatly increased. In fact, there were some great battles happening right now. Lin Feng would occasionally summon Bibi and the others to help. At the same time, he wanted to train Bibi and the others. However, Lin Feng would not summon the Demon King bug. The main reason was that the Demon King bug was not strong enough. They were unable to participate in the war. However, if the Demonic King bug completed its second transformation, the Devil King insect would be reborn. At that time, the Devil King insect could also come out and fight alongside Bibi and the others. Time passed quickly. The Devil King insect's transformation was still ongoing. The Devil King insect's transformation did not take too long. It only took 2 hours. The Devil King bug completed its second transformation. The Devil King insect that completed its transformation did not change much from its previous size. However, the Devil King insect's aura was much stronger than before. Lin Feng knew that this time, the Demonic King insect's strength had increased by a huge margin. Lin Feng couldn't help but feel happy for the Devil King insect. Of course, Lin Feng was also happy for himself. Because the Devil King insect was one of Lin Feng's demon pets. The stronger the Devil King insect was, it would be of great help to Lin Feng. Lin Feng sent the Devil King insect into the time and space. He rested for a while. He found that it was already late. Lin Feng found some wood and made a simple pile of materials. Then Lin Feng lit the pile of materials. The flames burned. Lin Feng cut off some dragon meat. Then he took out a spear, pierced the dragon meat with the spear, and put it on the fire to roast. As a person who couldn't be happier without meat, Lin Feng naturally wanted to take advantage of every opportunity to eat meat and enjoy the delicious food. Barbecuing meat was Lin Feng's specialty, and he was also very familiar with it. Not long after, the roasted meat emitted a rich meat fragrance. Lin Feng took out a wine jar. Earlier, he stuffed a green bamboo leaf inside. This was a very nourishing wine. It was good for men. So if men drank this wine often, they would all become energetic. Lin Feng cut off a piece of roasted meat and drank while eating. Then he looked at the stars in the sky. From time to time, the roars of beasts could be heard. In a cultivator's life, most of the time, they were destined to be lonely. And Lin Feng was already used to this feeling of loneliness. "You sure are leisurely, drinking wine and eating roasted meat here," Aren't you afraid of attracting the powerful beasts around here? A voice came from the forest. Then a woman walked out. Her life was extremely beautiful. That pair of straight and slender jade-like legs were even more eye-catching. This long-legged beauty was none other than the female cultivator Lin Feng had seen twice before. During the day, her face was still very pale, and her injuries seemed to be quite serious. However, after half a day of treatment, her complexion recovered a lot. Her aura also became much more stable. So it's you, Fairy. What a coincidence! I didn't expect to meet you here, Lin Feng said with a smile. The woman walked over and sat in front of the fire beside Lin Feng. Lin Feng didn't answer her previous question, so she didn't pursue it. I want to eat meat too, the woman said. Lin Feng nodded and said, Eating meat is good. It can speed up the recovery of injuries. This is an effect that spirit fruits can't replace. The woman's pretty face turned cold. She said, You know I'm injured? What's your relationship with those people? Lin Feng rolled his eyes and said, If I'm related to those people, do you think you can still sit here and talk to me? I could have captured you the first time we met. The woman thought about it and said, Even if you're not related to those people, you're still a stinking hooligan. Who knows what kind of wicked ideas you have in your mind? After hearing the woman's words, Lin Feng was speechless. He said, Yes, I'm a stinking hooligan. Do you want me to carry you to the forest right now and make you my bride tonight? Hearing this, the woman glared fiercely at Lin Feng and said, You're still far from enough. Even if my cultivation has dropped a lot due to my injuries, dealing with you is still as easy as flipping my hand. Chapter 4773. Lin Feng only smiled in response to the woman's disdain. He did not refute the woman because Lin Feng felt that there was no need to refute her. As long as she was happy, it was fine. Why fight over this? Lin Feng said with a smile. Don't worry, I'm not interested in you. You don't have to worry about me plotting against you. Now you can eat. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the woman exploded. Lin Feng said that he was not interested in her? What did that mean? She was a great beauty, a national beauty. He actually dared to say that he was not interested in her? Did he think that she was not beautiful enough? The woman looked at Lin Feng and said, You said that you were not interested in me. Are you trying to attract my attention? I can see through this trick of yours. If you want to use this method to attract my attention, then let me give you a piece of advice. Don't waste your effort. This method of yours has no effect on me. Lin Feng curled his lips and said, Fairy, please don't overthink it. I really don't have any thoughts about you. Humph, you better not. Otherwise, I'll make you regret it. The woman coldly snorted. In truth, she was trying to find a way out for herself. This was because she realized that perhaps Lin Feng really was not interested in her. This made the woman feel extremely unconvinced. She secretly cursed Lin Feng for being blind. Why would he turn a blind eye to her beauty? If this was in the past, she would definitely have argued with Lin Feng. However, the woman only wanted to eat a good meal now. Everything else could be discussed later, so she quickly found a way out for herself and used a dagger to cut off a piece of barbecued meat. She began to eat in an unladylike manner. Is this the reincarnation of a hungry ghost? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself as he looked at the woman's unladylike manner while eating. His mutter could not escape the woman's ears. The woman glared at Lin Feng and said, Are you asking for a beating? Do you believe that I won't beat the crap out of you? Lin Feng said, I said something wrong. Fairy, you should eat quickly. It won't taste good later. The woman no longer paid any attention to Lin Feng. Instead, she quickly finished off the barbecued meat in front of her. After eating, she patted her stomach. His originally flat abdomen was now slightly bulging. He had eaten too much. But from the looks of it, she still looked as if she hadn't had enough. I didn't expect you to have such good skills. I've decided to hire you as my personal chef. I'll pay you 10 mid-grade immortal stones every day. What do you think? Lin Feng said. I don't care about the remuneration, but if there's a bed warming service, I'll agree. What bed warming service? The woman looked at Lin Feng in confusion. Lin Feng smirked. That means we'll sleep together tonight. Stinking hooligan, you're asking for a beating. Hearing Lin Feng's words, the woman immediately went berserk and pounced on Lin Feng. She wanted to give Lin Feng a good beating. Lin Feng quickly stood up. He moved to the left and easily dodged the woman who pounced on him. Your cultivation isn't that great, but your movement technique isn't bad. The woman couldn't help but say in surprise. She thought Lin Feng's cultivation wasn't that great because she was an earth immortal cultivator. As for Lin Feng, he hid his cultivation technique. He had hidden his strength on purpose, so when people sensed his cultivation level, they realized he was only a great emperor. And he had just entered the emperor realm not long ago. The main reason was that Lin Feng was used to keeping a low profile. The woman pounced on Lin Feng several times, but Lin Feng dodged her every time. She stomped her foot angrily. She said, "This fairy is injured, so I won't lower myself to your level." Lin Feng said with a smile. "Then I'll have to thank fairy for being merciful." The woman said, "It's good that you know I'm merciful. You should restrain yourself a little. If you dare to flirt in front of me again, I won't forgive you. Fairy is really magnanimous. I'll remember it now. I promise I won't flirt with fairy anymore," Lin Feng said. The woman said, "Why does it sound so awkward when I hear you say that? Especially when you don't use the word flirt. How can you flirt with me? If you dare, I'll beat you until half your body is paralyzed." This woman was only good at talking. Her strength was naturally not as good as her words. The woman said, "If you follow me to a place, I can give you some benefits." Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. Then he asked, "Where are we going?" "Qingyang Town," the woman replied. "Why are we going there?" Lin Feng asked, puzzled. The woman said, "To save." "Of course, you don't have to be afraid. When the time comes, you don't have to do anything. You just have to create some chaos outside to attract the attention of those people. When the time comes, I'll go in and save them." "Who are you going to save?" Lin Feng asked. "My elder sister," the woman said. "Your elder sister?" Lin Feng could not help but be surprised. Then, he thought of the cultivators who had chased after the woman. It seemed that one of the sisters had been captured. One of them had escaped. "Why do you have so many questions? Are you going or not?" The woman clearly did not have much patience. She was an impatient person. She looked at Lin Feng angrily. Lin Feng said, "This is a matter of life and death. Of course, I have to ask more questions. Otherwise, I might lose my life. Look at how careful you are. You're so useless." The woman curled her lips and said. Lin Feng said, "Being useless is better than losing my life." The woman said, "What do you want to ask? Hurry up." Lin Feng naturally would not be polite with the woman. In fact, he had always wanted to know why those people had chased after the woman. They must have some unspeakable secret. Unfortunately, the cultivator who had led the group was already dead. Or else, he already knew the reason why they had chased after the woman. Lin Feng asked, "Who captured your elder sister?" "The Myriad Poison Sect," the woman said. "What kind of faction is that?" Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. Just by hearing the name of the faction, he knew that it was not a faction to be trifled with. One of the strongest factions in the White Bone region. They specialize in using poison to control all kinds of poisonous creatures, the woman said. Lin Feng had already seen this. Moreover, he had a deep impression of them. When it came to using poison and controlling all kinds of poisonous creatures, the cultivators of the Myriad Poison Sect were indeed unique. Lin Feng continued asking, "Why did the Myriad Poison Sect capture you?" Chapter 4774. Since we're working together, we should be honest. If you don't, then there's no way we can continue working together. Lin Feng shrugged. The woman glared at Lin Feng. Her shrewish style was obvious as she said, "Who's not being honest? I didn't say I wouldn't tell you." She continued, "It's because we sisters have an item that attracted the myriad poison sect's interest. That's why they want to capture us and take the item from us. When we were surrounded, my sister was captured by the myriad poison sect in order to cover my escape. They didn't use your sister to threaten you and force you to show yourself?" Lin Feng asked. The woman said, "Of course they did. However, I spread the news that if they dared to harm my sister, I would destroy the item. No one would be able to obtain it. Those people naturally feared my sister and didn't dare to harm her. They wanted to capture me so that they could solve the problem once and for all. However, how could they possibly have the ability to capture me? Aren't they still being toyed around by me?" At this point, the woman revealed a smug expression. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter inwardly, "If I hadn't killed those people, you would have been captured long ago." Of course, Lin Feng didn't say this to the woman. "Yeah, you're really amazing. You'll definitely be able to save your sister. I'm very curious. What exactly did you obtain? Why are those people from the myriad poison sect so interested in it?" Lin Feng asked the woman. The woman said, "A token to head to the place where the Lord of all Spirits fell." "The Lord of all Spirits? What kind of existence is that?" Lin Feng asked, puzzled. This was the first time he had heard of such an existence. The Lord of all Spirits isn't a simple existence. In the past, he was an expert who dominated the world. It's said that the Lord of all Spirits was transformed from a ferocious beast, a tyrant beast. He was born with a domineering aura that intimidated everyone," the woman said. When Lin Feng heard that, he couldn't help but be astonished. A tyrant beast? Didn't that mean he had a tyrant bone? Previously, Lin Feng had obtained the cultivation method of the supreme world-destroying hegemonic aura. This was Lin Feng's fifth type of Qi aura. However, it wasn't easy for Lin Feng to cultivate this type of acquired Qi aura. First of all, one needed to have an extremely deep understanding of this domineering aura. However, comprehending the mysteries of tyrannical aura was the most difficult thing. Of course, this was not a difficult task for Lin Feng. After all, Lin Feng had already cultivated 4 types of Haki. He had a certain understanding of Haki. It was precisely because of his previous experience of cultivating Haki. Therefore, Lin Feng's success rate in comprehending a new Haki was many times higher than others. However, even if he had comprehended the profound mysteries of Haki, he still wouldn't be able to do it. However, in order to cultivate tyrannical aura, one still needed another prerequisite, and that was the tyrannical bone. But how could it be so easy to find the tyrant bone? Lin Feng never thought that he would obtain some information about Tyrant Gu here. This made Lin Feng very happy. If he could find the place where the Lord of all Spirits fell, his tyrant bone might still be there. If he obtained the tyrant bone, wouldn't he be able to cultivate the supreme world-destroying hegemonic aura? This was an acquired purple Qi aura. Although it was acquired Qi aura, it was the highest level of Qi aura. The acquired Qi aura was often weaker than the innate Qi aura. Therefore, among the acquired Qi aura, it was very rare to be able to reach the 9th level of purple Qi aura. And for the supreme world-destroying hegemonic aura to reach the 9th level of purple Qi aura, it was very rare. Once successfully cultivated, Lin Feng's cultivation would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. Lin Feng looked at the woman and said with a smile, "I can help you save your sister, but I want to go with you to the place where the Lord of all Spirits fell. Moreover, I want to choose something. Looking at your treacherous smile, why do I feel like you're up to something?" The woman couldn't help but snort, and said, looking at Lin Feng with a suspicious gaze. Lin Feng said, "Look at what you're saying. I'm a righteous person, so don't slander me. I don't think you dare to play any tricks. Otherwise, I'll beat you up until you can't take care of yourself for the rest of your life," the woman said as she waved her fist. Lin Feng asked, "What's your name?" "My name is Hannah Mirage," the woman said. Then she looked at Lin Feng and asked, "What's your name?" "My name is Ji," Lin Feng introduced. There's no time to lose. Let's go to Qingyang Town now, Hannah Mirage said. Lin Feng nodded. He went to Qingyang Town with Hannah Mirage. On the way, Hannah Mirage had been swallowing healing pills, wanting to quickly recover from her injuries. Lin Feng said, How can you swallow healing pills like that? Swallowing healing pills like that will cause your body to develop a strong resistance to healing pills, which will cause great harm to your body. Once this resistance is formed, the effects of healing pills will be greatly reduced when you take them in the future. It's none of your business. I'm happy to do it. Hannah Mirage snorted coldly. Her shrewish personality was fully displayed. Lin Feng shook his head and didn't say anything else. In fact, Lin Feng knew what Hannah Mirage was thinking. She wanted to save her sister as soon as possible. Therefore, she swallowed large amounts of healing pills to recover from her injuries instead of slowly recuperating. In fact, Hannah Mirage was a shrewish person on the outside. But in reality, she was a very kind woman. 5 days later, Lin Feng and Hannah Mirage arrived outside Qingyang Town. When they arrived, it was evening. The sky wasn't completely dark yet. Therefore, Lin Feng and Hannah Mirage didn't enter Qingyang Town. According to Hannah Mirage, there were many cultivators from the myriad poison sect in Qingyang Town. It wasn't suitable to enter now. When night came, it was easy to hide in the darkness. This was the best time to act. What's your sister's name? Lin Feng asked. Why are you asking this? Hannah Mirage asked. Purely out of curiosity, Lin Feng said. Don't you dare have any ideas about my sister, or I'll beat you to death, Hannah Mirage said fiercely, but she still told Lin Feng her sister's name. Hannah Mirage's sister's name was Hannah Jinsey. Lin Feng nodded and waited for night to fall. Qingyang Town was located on the official road of the ancient cloud forest, so there were many adventurers coming in and out. It was very lively. When night fell, Hannah Mirage said, In the center of Qingyang Town, there's a house called Shui Mansion. My sister is trapped inside. Go and lure away the cultivators there. Try to lure as many of them away as possible. After you've lured those people away, I'll immediately sneak in to save my sister, Lin Feng said. All right, I'll go now. When we move later, be careful. Chapter 4775. Soon, Lin Feng arrived at Qingyang Town. Not many people in Qingyang Town recognized Lin Feng. Therefore, Lin Feng was able to walk through the streets of Qingyang Town without any fear. If it was Hannah Mirage, she would have to enter Qingyang Town carefully. Otherwise, if she was discovered, she would definitely be captured. Not long after, Lin Feng arrived at the mansion Hannah Mirage mentioned. He used his divine will to sense it. Lin Feng was shocked to find an extremely powerful existence in the depths of the mansion. It was definitely a true immortal expert. This expert did not seem to be as simple as a beginner true immortal. Even if he lured a large number of cultivators away, Hua Huanyue had walked right into the trap by coming here. There was no way she could save her sister. That was certain. Lin Feng was absolutely certain. However, Hannah Mirage did not know about this. Still, Lin Feng planned to follow Hannah Mirage's plan. He would lure a portion of the cultivators away first. There were more than 10 cultivators guarding the door outside. Those people were probably disciples of the myriad poison sect. The group of cultivators had ferocious looks on their faces. Although they did not know that they were cultivators from the myriad poison order, when the surrounding cultivators saw them, they dared not linger around. One by one, they quickly left. Lin Feng walked towards the group of cultivators. Kids, stop right there! A cultivator shouted coldly. Lin Feng stopped. The cultivator looked coldly at Lin Feng and asked, Is this a place where you can come? Get lost, or I'll kill you immediately. These people were all demonic cultivators. Naturally, they would kill without batting an eyelid. Lin Feng said, Look at this treasure in my hand. Do you recognize it? Lin Feng's words attracted everyone's attention. A treasure? What treasure? Everyone was puzzled. Swoosh! With a flash of light, a treasure appeared in Lin Feng's hand. It was a huge sword. This huge sword was the huge sword in the hands of the leading cultivator from before. After the cultivator was killed by Lin Feng, the giant sword fell into Lin Feng's hands. This is Shui Dingtian's giant sword! Suddenly, someone recognized the giant sword. The others were shocked. How did Shui Dingtian's huge sword appear in the hands of this human cultivator? That's right, it's his. I killed him, so the giant sword fell into my hands, said Lin Feng while smiling coldly. He then raised his sword, and a dazzling sword chi condensed into a gigantic sword. Next, he charged towards the group of cultivators. When they saw the incoming sword beams, the faces of the cultivators there sank sharply. They had never imagined that there would come a day when someone would dare to attack the cultivators of the myriad poison sect within their territory. Was this an act of provocation against the supreme dignity of the myriad poison sect? Hurry up and dodge! The cultivators cried out in panic as they desperately tried to dodge Lin Feng's attack. Some even took out their magic treasures to block Lin Feng's attack. However, not everyone managed to dodge Lin Feng's attack. Tearing sounds rang out incessantly. Among the dozen or so cultivators, only 2 were lucky enough to survive. The rest were all killed by Lin Feng's sword. The 2 surviving cultivators rushed into the mansion in a wretched state and cried out in horror. Enemy attack! Enemy attack! The ones I'm killing are the bastards of your myriad poison sect. Ha ha! After killing all those people, Lin Feng burst into laughter and quickly left the palace. Some of the cultivators who were passing by saw what happened in the blink of an eye. They were all dumbfounded and had looks of disbelief on their faces. They never thought that the people in the mansion would be cultivators of the myriad poison sect. Even more so, they never thought that someone would run into the myriad poison sect's territory and kill their cultivators. After killing them, he even said such arrogant words. He was provoking the myriad poison sect. A sentence suddenly appeared in everyone's mind. Ask how the death catcher was cultivated. This sentence seemed to fit the current situation quite well. Lin Feng rushed outside. Not long after, a cold voice came from inside the mansion. How dare you provoke our myriad poison sect? No one in this world can save your life. Then, dozens of cultivators quickly flew out of the mansion where the myriad poison sect's cultivators were stationed. All of them were filled with killing intent. Those cultivators. They were completely enraged. All of them were filled with rage. Their killing intent was overwhelming. They couldn't wait to capture Lin Feng, the person who provoked their myriad poison sect. Then, they cut off Lin Feng's flesh piece by piece. It really is the myriad poison sect. Who was that kid just now? He's really bold. I don't know him. I've never seen him before. He dares to provoke the myriad poison sect like this. I've never even heard of him before, let alone seen him before. Didn't we see him now? There are always some people in this world who aren't afraid of death. But these kinds of people often die miserably. Seeing a large number of myriad poison sect's cultivators fly out, many people couldn't help but discuss spiritedly. Those myriad poison sect's cultivators quickly chased after him. Lin Feng, on the other hand, disappeared into the forest. A group of experts from the myriad poison sect also chased after him. This guy still has some tricks up his sleeve. Seeing the group of experts from the myriad poison sect enter the forest to chase after Lin Feng, Hannah Mirage couldn't help but mutter. Then, she carefully flew in the direction of Qingyang town. Hannah Mirage easily infiltrated the mansion where the myriad poison sect's cultivators were stationed. After all, a large number of myriad poison sect's cultivators had already left. There weren't many cultivators left in the mansion. Hannah Mirage's body was like a cat as she passed through the layers of mansions. She was looking for the place where her sister was imprisoned. In one of the courtyards, she saw 2 guards standing guard outside. Could this be the place? Hannah Mirage couldn't help but mutter to herself. She silently snuck over, then used the killing technique she'd learned a few years ago. This was an inheritance that Hannah Mirage had found in the storage ring of a dead assassin. Although she wasn't proficient in the killing technique, she was still a beginner. She hid behind the two guards and quickly attacked. Slash! Slash! The short blade in her hand lightly swept through the air, accompanied by the sound of something being torn apart. The necks of the two guards were instantly torn apart. The two guards fell to the ground, dead. Hannah Mirage pushed open the door and entered. However, it was empty. "Oh no, we've been tricked!" Hannah Mirage's expression changed. She quickly rushed outside. However, as soon as she arrived in the courtyard, a large number of cultivators from the Myriad Poisons sect rushed in. More than 20 of them rushed in. "Ha ha ha, Hannah Mirage, we knew you'd find a way to rescue Hannah Jinsey. We've been waiting for you," a cultivator in a long green robe said with a laugh. This person was called True Lord Lifesizer. He was a true subimmortal expert, only a step away from entering the true immortal realm. His grandfather was a hidden expert of the Myriad Poison sect. Chapter 4776. "Where's my elder sister?" Hannah Mirage asked with an ugly expression. Hannah Mirage had never thought that she would end up in such a situation. Hannah Mirage was in an extremely bad mood. However, no matter how bad her mood was, she still had to face the reality in front of her. "Bring her here!" Life-taking True Lord waved his hand and said. Upon hearing that, someone immediately brought a woman over. This woman was somewhat similar to Hannah Mirage. However, her temperament was completely different from Hannah Mirage. Hannah Mirage was the kind of woman who had a very shrewish character. The woman in front of her gave off a gentle and moving feeling. "Elder sister, did these bastards do anything to you?" Hannah Mirage asked. She had always been straightforward with her words. Hannah Jinsey said. "I'm fine. It's just that I've implicated you now." Hannah Jinsey did not say anything like that. It sounded like she was reprimanding someone, which naturally made people feel even worse. It was obvious that Hannah Jinsey was a woman with a pure heart. However, the current situation made Hannah Jinsey feel very sad and guilty. In her opinion, if it were not for saving her, Hannah Mirage would not have fallen into a trap. "Elder sister, don't worry. We can leave this place safely today." Hannah Mirage looked very confident. "How ridiculous! Even now you're still daydreaming?" Life-taking True Lord looked at Hannah Mirage with a mocking gaze. He naturally did not think that Hannah Mirage had a way to escape from him. He was confident. There were still life-taking True Lords. "Ignorant fellow!" Hannah Mirage sneered. Then, a light flashed in her hand. Afterward, a white paper doll flew out. "Pale paper doll!" At this moment, Hannah Mirage shouted, and the pale paper man actually burst into flames. As for what the pale paper doll was, no one knew. Perhaps it was a treasure that Hannah Mirage had obtained after much deliberation. It was to deal with today's situation. When the pale paper doll began to burn, one after another, white paper dolls flew towards the cultivators. The white paper dolls flew directly into the minds of the cultivators. Then, one by one, the cultivators clutched their heads and screamed in pain. Some of the weaker cultivators even fell to the ground, bleeding from their 7 orifices. The pale paper doll was indeed a powerful treasure, but it was a pity that it could only be used once. The effect was quite good. Hua Huanyue rushed to her sister's side. He wanted to remove the restriction on Hannah Jinsey. Go to hell! After all, Lifesizer True Lord's cultivation base was that of a quasi-true immortal. Therefore, he did not suffer as much damage as the others. He slapped towards Hannah Mirage. However, Hannah Mirage had been preparing for this day for a long time. Therefore, the situation in front of her had long been expected. In the face of life-taking True Lord's attack, Hannah Mirage directly took out dozens of jade talismans. Those jade talismans instantly exploded. When the jade talismans exploded, they produced an extremely terrifying energy. The energy directly bombarded life-taking True Lord's body. Life-taking True Lord could not withstand the energy of the explosion. He was blown away by the energy of the explosion. and his skin and flesh were torn apart. It looked quite tragic. Hana Mirage quickly came in front of her sister, Hana Jinsei. She broke the restriction that imprisoned her sister, Hana Jinsei. Then, she flew outside with Hana Jinsei. Junior, you are really scheming. However, since you are here today, there is no possibility of you leaving. At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded. Then, a big hand appeared. That big hand covering the sky grabbed towards Hana Jinsei and Hana Mirage. The aura emitted by that big hand was really terrifying. After sensing the aura emitted by the giant hand, the two sisters revealed extremely unsightly expressions on their faces. A true immortal. It was actually a true immortal expert who had made a move. The attack of a true immortal. It was too terrifying. The two sisters felt that their bodies were about to be unable to move. They felt that in front of a true immortal, they were like ants. The two sisters' hearts sank to the bottom of the valley. Just as they were about to lose all hope, another large hand suddenly flew over from the sky. That big hand collided with the energy hand condensed by the true immortal expert of the myriad poison sect. The power of that big hand was so powerful that it directly broke the energy hand condensed by the true immortal expert. Then, it grabbed Hana Jinsei and Hana Mirage. Then, the big hand shuttled through the void and left. Who dares to ruin this seat's plans? An expert rushed out of the room. It was a skinny old man. At this moment, the old man was unusually angry. He was about to capture Hana Jinsei and Hana Mirage. However, someone had ruined his plan. This true immortal expert was naturally infuriated, but when he wanted to find traces of the other party had long disappeared without a trace. That big hand appeared in the forest and put down Hana Jinsei and Hana Mirage. Then, the big hand disappeared. The two sisters naturally knew that they had met an expert who had saved them. Otherwise, they would not have been able to escape today. However, that expert did not seem to have any intention of showing himself. The two sisters hurriedly thanked that expert. They said in unison, "Thank you for saving our lives, Senior. If you want to thank me, the two of you can marry G and serve him together. That's the best way to repay me." A faintly discernible voice sounded. The two sisters were slightly stunned. Hana Jinsei looked confused. She did not know who this G was. However, Hana Mirage looked like she was gnashing her teeth. She felt that the senior expert would definitely not make such a request. Moreover, that senior expert had most likely already left. It was easy to guess who the person who said these words was. "Gee, you stinking hooligan! I know you're here. Hurry up and come out!" Hana Mirage looked like she was gnashing her teeth as she shouted loudly. Lin Feng walked out of the forest. He said, "Did I offend you? You dare to tease us sisters? Are you looking for a beating?" Hana Mirage glared fiercely at Lin Feng and asked. Lin Feng said, "When did I tease you two sisters? You can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want. You were the one who spoke earlier, weren't you? That senior left long ago. You were deliberately mystifying things and pretending to be that senior so that we sisters would serve you together. Am I right?" Chapter 4777. Lin Feng was a little surprised. It seemed that Hana Mirage was enlightened. However, Lin Feng really wanted to say that he was the one who saved the two of them. Why should he pretend to be someone else? Of course, Lin Feng didn't say these words out loud. If he did, he was sure that not only would Hana Mirage not believe him, but she would also look at him with disdain. Lin Feng said, "I'm not pretending to be that powerful cultivator. I wouldn't dare to even if I had the guts. I'm guessing that the senior must have a deep relationship with me, so I gave you and your sister a clear path. Don't worry, after you follow me, I'll dote on you and I won't be biased towards anyone. It's such a good thing to sleep under the same blanket. I'll chop you to death." As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, Hana Mirage had a machete in her hand. She rushed towards Lin Feng with the machete, wanting to chop Lin Feng to death with it. Lin Feng, on the other hand, broke into a run. This woman, she was beautiful. But her character was too valiant. Hannah Jinsey looked at Lin Feng and frowned slightly. She was a woman with a pure heart. So, she felt that this young human cultivator named G wasn't as frivolous as he appeared to be. She had a strange feeling that the man in front of her wasn't simple. Even Hannah Jinsey was shocked by this strange feeling. Because Lin Feng seemed to be quite ordinary. If there were any good points other than his good looks, what other good points did he have? For now, she didn't see any. If flowery speech was a good point, then flowery speech was Lin Feng's second good point. Soon, Hannah Jinsey understood why she felt that Lin Feng was a little strange. It was mainly because that mysterious expert had brought them here. That mysterious expert didn't show up. However, the giant hand it had condensed dissipated. It also seemed to mean that he had left this place. Then, Lin Feng appeared. Both sides completed a seamless connection. This was what puzzled Hannah Jinsey. Why did the mysterious expert bring them to this place and not some other place? Why was this cultivator called Ji here? Clearly, this cultivator was acquainted with his younger sister. Was this all a coincidence? If it was a coincidence. If that was the case, then his conjecture was inaccurate. If it wasn't a coincidence, then wouldn't it mean that this cultivator named Ji? Was it really related to that mysterious expert? Actually, was he the descendant of that mysterious expert? They had been saved by that mysterious cultivator, and Lin Feng was the one who had begged that mysterious cultivator to save them? Hannah Jinsey planned to observe Lin Feng carefully. She wanted to see if she could find any clues. It was completely impossible for Hannah Mirage to catch up with Lin Feng. She chased for a long time with her machete. But she couldn't even touch the corner of Lin Feng's clothes. This made Hannah Mirage furious. Hannah Mirage put away the machete, glared at Lin Feng, and then found a place to rest. Huan Yu, you haven't introduced this young master yet. Hannah Jinsey looked at Lin Feng and said. Hannah Mirage said angrily. This guy is called Ji. He was responsible for luring away some cultivators from the myriad poison sect. I met him by chance. He's not very capable, but he's a complete scoundrel. After thinking for a while, Hannah Mirage added. Furthermore, he's a smelly hooligan, so big sister, you must be careful of him. Don't be fooled by his flowery words. Lin Feng said. I took a huge risk to help you. I didn't expect you to evaluate me like this. It really makes those who hear it sad and those who hear it cry. Did I wrongly accuse you? Hannah Mirage snorted and said. Lin Feng said. Let's not talk about whether I'm a hooligan or not, but you said that I don't have any ability. That's really wronged me. I'm very powerful. I can enter the 9-heaven world. I can enter the Yellow Springs hell. I have friends everywhere. Brag with all your might. Hannah Mirage curled her lips. Her face was filled with disbelief. Hannah Jinsey, on the other hand, was carefully savoring Lin Feng's words. Lin Feng smiled, and then said, When are we going to find the place where the Lord of all Spirits fell? What's the rush? Let's rest for the night and set off tomorrow, Hannah Mirage said. Of course, Lin Feng said. Then, Lin Feng jumped onto a branch of a big tree, then lay down and began to rest. As for Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage, they jumped onto another big tree to rest. The roars of beasts could be heard from time to time. The forest at night was very dangerous. Lin Feng could vaguely hear Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage whispering something. However, he didn't hear it clearly. The night passed without a word. The next day, the three of them set off for the place where the Lord of all Spirits had fallen. Hannah Mirage took out a purple jade stone. She poured her magic power into the purple jade stone, and the purple jade stone would emit a screen of light. And that screen of light was extremely extraordinary. Because that screen of light showed a map. That map was the map to the place where the Lord of all Spirits had fallen. When Lin Feng saw the map, he was a little surprised. This was the first time he had seen such a strange thing. A map was hidden in a jade stone, and it could be manifested in the void. The cultivator who forged the purple jade stone clearly had extraordinary means. Where is the final destination? Asked Yifutian. Lin Feng asked curiously. It's in the depths of the ancient cloud forest, Hannah Mirage said. Lin Feng said, I heard that there are Beast Emperor level experts in the depths of the ancient cloud forest. Moreover, those Beast Emperor level experts are all high-level true immortals. Entering that place is really dangerous, Hannah Mirage said. Why? Are you afraid? If you are, it's not too late to leave now, Lin Feng said with a smile. If I die in front of peonies, I'll be a romantic ghost. With you two sisters accompanying me, I won't be afraid even if it's a dragon's lair or a tiger's den. Hannah Mirage pursed her lips and said, You really are a stinky hooligan. Every 3 sentences you say are always your old profession. However, this time, she didn't chase after Lin Feng. Hannah Jinsey smiled and said, I feel that young Master Ji is a gentleman. Sometimes you can't judge a person by their appearance. Hearing that. Chapter 4778. There were some things that Hannah Jinsey could not explain too clearly to Hannah Mirage. She understood her younger sister's personality and temperament very well. She knew that once her younger sister decided on something, she would not change her mind. She would not change her mind easily. Thus, when faced with Hannah Mirage's question, Hannah Jinsey only smiled and did not explain too much. Lin Feng said, Fairy Huan, she knows me well. There's a good saying, if you can find a bosom friend in life, you can die without regrets. Gee! Are you trying to woo my elder sister? Let me tell you, you better give up on such thoughts as soon as possible. My elder sister will never agree to it. You want to harm my elder sister? Dream on! Hannah Mirage glared fiercely at Lin Feng as she spoke. Lin Feng and Hannah Jinsey were speechless. Hannah Mirage's words were simply too vulgar. What did she mean by woo? Using the word woo sounded many times better than woo. You've really misunderstood me. I'm just purely admiring Fairy Huanxi. Lin Feng shrugged. You better not have any improper thoughts. Otherwise, I won't let you off. Hannah Mirage fiercely threatened Lin Feng. Hannah Jinsey actually wanted to interact more with Lin Feng. It was not because Hannah Jinsey had taken a fancy to Lin Feng. A peerless beauty like Hannah Jinsey had countless suitors. What kind of handsome young man had she not seen? Thus, she naturally would not be so superficial as to fall for Lin Feng so quickly just because he was handsome. The reason she wanted to interact more with Lin Feng was because she felt that Lin Feng was not simple. She wanted to dig deeper into Lin Feng's secrets, to see if her suspicions were correct. However, Hannah Mirage kept messing around, which made Hannah Jinsey feel a little helpless. However, Hannah Jinsey couldn't say these words to Hannah Mirage. After all, Hannah Mirage had her best interests at heart. Hannah Jinsey had to find another opportunity to contact Lin Feng. It would be best if she could dig out some secrets from Lin Feng. At this moment, Lin Feng said, I am a gentleman. How could I have such dirty thoughts? Hannah Mirage said, I heard from the old people that people who often boast about how awesome they are often the less capable they are. So, those who often say that they are gentlemen are most likely not gentlemen. What a crooked idea! Lin Feng curled his lips and said. Hannah Mirage said, If you don't listen to the old people, you will suffer losses. This is the life experience of the old people. Today, I will tell you for free. Hua Huanxi, on the other hand, looked at her younger sister in surprise. Lin Feng often said something, and Hannah Mirage would contradict Lin Feng. Hannah Jinsey understood Hannah Mirage very well. Logically speaking, Hannah Mirage wouldn't do such a thing, right? Moreover, her sister had never had much contact with male cultivators. Towards those male cultivators who wanted to chase her, she would just pick up her machete and chase after them. Thus, until now, no one dared to chase after her sister. If someone chased after her sister would still pick up her machete and chase after them. When she was with Lin Feng, she would often bicker with Lin Feng. Was there some other reason for this? 10 days later. The three of them had arrived at the inner region of the ancient cloud forest. Ferocious beasts ran rampant here. It was very dangerous. Suddenly, divine light surged in the depths. Lin Feng and the others quickly flew over. They saw. In a valley, there was actually a very special plant growing. It was a sunflower. At this moment, the sunflower had already matured. It emitted endless divine light. After the divine light merged together, it seemed to have turned into a dazzling divine sun. The top-grade immortal medicine sunflower, this is the treasure to refine the 9 sun soul-tempering pill. After seeing the sunflower, Hannah Mirage was immediately surprised. She wanted to rush over and take the sunflower. But at this moment, Lin Feng grabbed Hannah Mirage's jade-like hand. When he sensed Lin Feng's gigantic hand, he was shocked. Hannah Mirage's pretty face turned slightly red. Then, she became angry. She looked at Lin Feng angrily and said, "What are you doing? Do you want to die? In this kind of place, don't be in a hurry to take action when you see an opportunity. With such a big commotion, the person who takes action first is destined to not have a good ending. Let's wait and see first," Lin Feng said. Hannah Mirage curled her lips, but did not refute Lin Feng. She pulled her hand out of Lin Feng's hand. At this moment, a cultivator flew out from the forest. He wanted to pick the sunflower, although he had already reached the depths of the ancient cloud forest. But in this place, there were still some cultivators around. Moreover, when the sunflower matured, it caused quite a commotion. It was very normal for it to attract some of the surrounding cultivators. Weren't Lin Feng and the other two also attracted by the phenomenon? That cultivator didn't look particularly old. But his cultivation was extremely extraordinary. He was at the loose immortal realm. It was very likely that he was a young elite from a large force. Just as he flew into the valley to pick the sunflower, suddenly, the void split open. Following that, a 10-meter-tall titan appeared, holding a huge stone club. It smashed towards the cultivator viciously. That cultivator's expression was one of shock. His reaction was also extremely fast. He hurriedly took out a powerful defensive shield. He wanted to use the defensive magic treasure to block that titan's attack. But the titan's attack was too terrifying. The stone staff smashed into the shield that the cultivator had summoned and sent him flying away together with the shield. Wah! That cultivator couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. His injuries weren't light. Then, the titan leaped up and smashed down with his club again. It wanted to smash that cultivator into meat paste. So powerful! Seeing this scene, Hannah Mirage was so scared that her face turned pale. That titan was too powerful. Fortunately, Lin Feng stopped her. Or else. Now it was very likely that she would be the one being attacked by the titan. Seeing that the cultivator was about to be smashed into meat paste by the titan's club. But at this moment, a cold voice suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. "How dare you!" Along with that voice, an old man appeared. That old man held a long saber in his hand and swept it towards the stone club in the titan's hand. Along with the violent collision sound, a world-destroying power surged in all directions. That old man who attacked was definitely a true immortal realm expert. But his attack was actually broken by that titan. That true immortal realm old man was sent flying. But that old man had rich combat experience. He borrowed the force to retreat. Quickly arriving in front of that young cultivator, he grabbed that young cultivator and tore through the void, quickly leaving. Chapter 4779. The Titan was so terrifying that it scared away the powerful genuine immortal. In the face of such a terrifying Titan, who dared to compete with it? Even Lin Feng. He didn't intend to compete with the Titan for the sunflower. Such a terrifying existence. He wouldn't provoke it if he could. The Titan quickly picked the sunflower. "We can't beat it. If we could, we would definitely beat it up." After seeing the Titan pick the sunflower, Hannah Mirage said gloomily. But how terrifying was the soul sense of the Titan? It sensed the existence of Lin Feng and the other two. It looked towards the place where Lin Feng and the other two were. It was a pair of extremely cold eyes. After seeing those eyes, Hana Mirage and Hana Jinsei felt as if they had fallen into a bottomless abyss. They felt cold all over. They wanted to escape, but found that their bodies seemed to be imprisoned. They couldn't escape at all. They couldn't imagine how powerful the Titan was. Hana Mirage and Hana Jinsei even had the heart to cry. The Titan was so powerful that it could kill them with a snap of its fingers. Now, the Titan found the three of them. Would the Titan make a move? In the eyes of Hana Mirage and Hana Jinsei, if the Titan made a move, the two sisters and Lin Feng would definitely die. Facing the cold eyes of the Titan. Not to mention Hana Mirage and Hana Jinsei. Even Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a sense of seriousness in his heart. The Titan family was gifted, and this Titan's talent seemed to be much stronger than the ordinary Titans. Therefore, it was able to cultivate to such a powerful level. Therefore, in the face of this Titan, Lin Feng didn't dare to be the slightest bit careless. Of course, Lin Feng wasn't afraid of this Titan. After Lin Feng broke through to the itinerant immortal realm, his battle strength soared. In addition, he had many hidden means and 2 evil god stone statues. He wasn't afraid of the Titan in front of him at all. So, Lin Feng looked at the terrifying Titan in the distance without fear. Their gazes intertwined. The intelligence of the Titan was obviously extremely profound. So, when its eyes met with Lin Feng's, it couldn't help frowning slightly. The young human cultivator made it felt an extremely dangerous feeling. The Titan could not help but reveal a puzzled expression. That human cultivator was so young. Why did he give off such a feeling? The Titan couldn't understand. It took a deep look at Lin Feng, then carried the huge stone club and quickly rushed into the distance. After a few jumps, it had already disappeared from the sight of Lin Feng and the others. It's gone! That big guy actually left, we're so lucky! After the Titan left, Hana Mirage quickly patted her towering breasts. She was really scared to death just now. But fortunately, the Titan chose to leave in the end, which made Hana Mirage feel like she had survived a disaster. This feeling was really great. And Hana Jinsei was also very surprised. The Titan clearly showed hostility just now. According to the development of the script, shouldn't the Titan rush over to kill the 3 of them and then eat them? But the Titan chose to leave in the end, which was really a bit strange. A thought suddenly appeared in Hana Jinsei's mind. Is it because of Ji's presence here? That Titan was very afraid of Ji, so it chose to leave in the end? When this thought appeared, even Hana Jinsei couldn't help but be shocked by this thought. If that was really the case, then the man beside the sisters. How terrifying was he? Who exactly was he? Hana Jinsei's gaze couldn't help but look at Lin Feng. She felt that her previous thought might be true. So, she was guessing Lin Feng's identity in her heart. She felt that Lin Feng's identity was definitely not simple. Why does Fairy Huanxi keep looking at me? Could it be because I'm too handsome, so Fairy Huanxi can't help but be attracted by my handsome appearance? Seeing Hana Jinsei staring at him, Lin Feng couldn't help but smile and say. Then he sighed. Sometimes, if a man is too outstanding, it's also a kind of helplessness. Hana Jinsei came back to her senses. She had lost her composure just now, she said. I was a little distracted just now. I didn't mean to stare at young master. Hua Huanyue, on the other hand, looked at her sister in confusion. She was very familiar with Hana Jinsei. Lin Feng might not be able to find out that Hana Jinsei was lying. But Hana Mirage found out that her sister was lying. Hana Mirage didn't understand why her sister was lying. Could it be that sister has really taken a fancy to this smelly hooligan? A thought appeared in Hana Mirage's mind. When this thought appeared, Hana Mirage's heart, there was a vague feeling of discomfort. It was just that even Hana Mirage didn't know why she felt uncomfortable in her heart. She glared fiercely at Lin Feng and said, Smelly hooligan, have you already forgotten what I warned you before? If you dare to flirt with my sister, do you believe that I won't cut you into 8 pieces? Lin Feng smiled bitterly. This girl was really hot-tempered. Huan Yu, young Master Ji was just joking just now, don't take it so seriously. Hannah Jinsey said. For my sister's sake, I'll forgive you this time. Hannah Mirage snorted and said. What a crazy woman! Lin Feng couldn't help but curl his lips, then muttered in his heart. Of course. Lin Feng didn't dare to say the words in his heart. If he really said it out loud, wouldn't Hannah Mirage eat him? The 3 of them continued on their way. About 5 days passed. Lin Feng and the other 2 rested in the forest. Roar! The earth-shaking roar of a beast resounded through the world. An unimaginably terrifying aura spread out. When they felt the terrifying aura, Hannah Mirage and Hannah Jinsey's faces turned extremely pale. Although the aura came from a great distance away, however, it still made them feel as if they couldn't breathe. What kind of beast is roaring so loudly? Hannah Jinsey said with a pale face. It's the Beast Emperor in the depths. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and looked into the depths. He said, Something big must have happened. Otherwise, the Beast Emperor wouldn't be so irritable. It's warning other creatures to stay away from the depths, or else it will kill them all. That Beast Emperor only roared once. You managed to analyze so much? Do you think we're as gullible as 3-year-old children? Hannah Mirage said with a curl of her lips. Lin Feng said speechlessly. 3-year-old children aren't as brainless as you are. I'm going to kill you. After hearing Lin Feng's mocking words, Hannah Mirage screamed in anger and pounced at Lin Feng. However, at this moment, the Beast Emperor roared again, and an even more terrifying aura spread out. Hannah Mirage's body trembled violently. That aura was too terrifying. After enduring the Beast Emperor's terrifying aura, Chapter 4780. Hannah Jinsey's situation was similar to Hannah Mirage's. Both were extremely bad. Their cultivation was actually not weak, but the Beast Emperor that emitted a terrifying pressure was too powerful. So much so that Hannah Mirage and Hannah Jinsey could not bear that terrifying pressure. But fortunately, that pressure quickly dissipated. Hannah Jinsey said, I'm afraid we can't go into the depths for the time being. Lin Feng said, Let's stay here and observe for the time being. Hannah Mirage naturally had no objections, mainly because the aura emitted by the Beast Emperor in the depths was too terrifying. That aura was simply suffocating. Hannah Mirage wanted to wait for a while. Otherwise, with her character, she would definitely continue to explore deeper. Beast roars could be heard from time to time. However, that terrifying Beast Emperor never showed up. It wasn't until this evening when the sun gradually set that the Beast Emperor finally appeared. Therefore, that Beast Emperor also knew that at night, it was often the most dangerous time. Because at night, darkness enveloped the earth. It was easier to hide. And at this time, it was easy to hide from the heavens. Therefore, the Beast Emperor's true body appeared. Its roar shook the mountains and rivers, suppressing the heavens. Lin Feng and the other 2 finally saw the appearance of this Beast Emperor. This Beast Emperor was surrounded by endless flames. Its appearance was like a lion, its head was like a dragon, and its body was covered with purple scales. Its body was 5 meters long and about 3.5 meters tall. It was unusually fierce. Wan Tianho! When he saw the Beast Emperor, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. It turned out to be a Wan Tianho. In fact, Lin Feng had only seen the introduction of the Wan Tianho in the Classic of Mountains and Seas before. In reality, this was the first time Lin Feng had seen a creature like the Wan Tianho. The Wan Tianho was terrifying. Its aura was monstrous. This kind of creature was originally an extremely heaven-defying creature. Not to mention that this was a mutated Wan Tianho. The reason why he knew that this was a mutated Wan Tianho, it was because of the introduction in the Classic of Mountains and Seas. Heavenly gazing stingers were generally black and white, but there were also some that were green. The mutated heavenly gazing ho were all purple in color. Mutated creatures were much stronger than normal creatures of the same species. It didn't matter if it was aptitude, talent, strength, or even the increase in combat power when breaking through. Mutated creatures would be far more powerful than other creatures of the same species. It was just that mutated creatures were relatively rare. A legendary creature has actually appeared. No wonder the outside world is saying that the Beast Emperor in the depths of the ancient cloud forest is incomparably powerful. After seeing the sky-gazing Ho, I finally know the reason, Hannah Jinsey said. Hannah Mirage asked, "What is the strength of this sky-gazing roar?" Lin Feng said, "At the very least, it's in existence at the third stage of the true immortal realm." True immortals were divided into 4 levels. They were the 4 golden sage immortals of the Yuan Dao. The third level that Lin Feng was referring to was the golden immortal. In the world of cultivators, gold represented immortality. Therefore, when it came to naming realms, the word gold could not be added casually. Because it added gold, it had the meaning of immortality. However, if the realm itself did not have such an ability, but was given such a name, it was destined to suffer misfortune. However, the Golden Immortal Realm was a different realm. The meaning of Golden Immortal was immortal, and the body of a cultivator in the Golden Immortal Realm could be immortal for billions of years, so it was worthy of this name. Just like the true immortal that Lin Feng had encountered previously. Although they were also in the true immortal realm. But they were basically virtual immortals. First stage true immortal realm cultivators. High-level true immortals were still relatively rare. And high-level true immortals were obviously not something that those low-level true immortals could compare to. The gap between the true immortal realm was huge, especially for true immortals who were of a higher level. The gap was even bigger. Lin Feng could now deal with some virtual immortal realm true immortals, but if he really faced a high-level true immortal, he had to carefully consider whether he had the ability. Sometimes, one had to know their own limits. Know their own limits. Only then would one know the way to choose. They also knew how to seek luck and avoid disaster. The sky-gazing Ho roared for a long time. It lingered in the depths. It didn't rush out. This attracted Lin Feng's attention. Logically speaking, since the sky-gazing Ho wanted to intimidate the living beings in the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest, it should be patrolling the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest. Why did it not leave the deep region? This was indeed a little unreasonable. Was there a reason why the sky-gazing Ho was unable to leave the deep region? So, the sky-gazing Ho had not left the deep region. Lin Feng felt that there might be such a possibility. After the sky darkened, the sky-gazing Ho fell silent. It no longer roared. Instead, it disappeared. The originally deathly silent forest seemed to have been revitalized. The sounds of insects and birds that had disappeared earlier were heard again. From time to time, the roars of beasts resounded in the forest. We should be able to sleep peacefully. If the sky-gazing Ho doesn't make any more noise, we can continue to set off tomorrow. At midnight, the sky-gazing Ho still did not appear. Lin Feng let out a long breath and said, Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage nodded. They could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Lin Feng and the other 2 seized the time to rest. When the sky was just beginning to brighten, the earth-shattering roar once again resounded in the forest. The sky-gazing Ho flew out. Its roar was filled with monstrous killing intent. The sky-gazing Ho seemed to have gone crazy. Its roar was so loud that it cracked the void. Its eyes were filled with endless anger. Terrifying beams of light shot out from its eyes one after another. The terrifying beams of light destroyed the surrounding mountains one after another. Lin Feng and the other 2 were alarmed. Something has happened. Something big must have happened. The sky-gazing Ho's killing intent is monstrous, but I don't know what happened inside. Lin Feng felt the sky-gazing Ho's emotions and said in a grave voice. Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage also knew what kind of terrible consequences such a terrifying existence would cause when it was angry. As a result, their expressions became extremely unsightly. Roar! At this moment, a roar came from afar. A huge green tiger flew over quickly. That huge green tiger was over 100 meters long. Its ferocious aura was monstrous. Roar! Then, a dragon's roar resounded through the clouds. A 9-headed demon dragon flew over, its 9 ferocious and huge dragon heads swaying. The dragon's aura suppressed the world. After the huge green tiger and the 9-headed demon dragon arrived, terrifying beings flew over one after another. For example, the titan that Lin Feng and the other 2 saw earlier also flew over from afar. There was also a golden giant. A stone man riding a stone beast. It was a silver creature with 4 pairs of wings. A black leopard. It was a huge green python. These beings were each more terrifying than the other. They were all kings of the ancient cloud forest. Now, these terrifying beings came one after another after hearing the sky-gazing Ho's call. Chapter 4781. After so many powerful creatures arrived, they all stopped in the depths. Great Emperor! A group of terrifying creatures bowed to the Wantian Ho. The Wantian Ho summoned these beast king-level existences one after another. No one knew why. But obviously, something big was going to happen next. The Wantian Ho's anger and murderous will were enough to explain everything. The Wantian Ho let out a series of roars. It was communicating with those beast king-level existences. Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage didn't understand what the Wantian Ho's roars meant. But Lin Feng could understand. After all, Lin Feng had been with Bibi and the others for a long time, so he more or less understood some beast language. The Beast Emperor's queen gave birth to a son. Someone stole one of the Beast Emperor's sons, Lin Feng said. What? There's actually such a thing? Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage's pretty faces suddenly changed. The Wantian Ho was such a terrifying existence. Provoking the Wantian Ho was simply courting death. Stealing the Wantian Ho's son was definitely a huge taboo. In fact, any powerful being would be infuriated if their heirs were stolen. It could be said that this was an endless hatred. Especially a creature like the Wantian Ho. Their talent was powerful, and their strength was terrifying. One had to know. The stronger the bloodline, the more terrifying the strength of a creature. The lower the probability of giving birth to a son. The main reason was that this kind of creature was envied by the heavens and suppressed by the laws of heaven and earth. Therefore, it was very difficult to give birth to a son. However, once this kind of creature gave birth to a son, it was usually very heaven-defying. It was estimated that some people from the large factions knew in advance that the Wantian Ho's queen would give birth to a son. So they began to plan this matter. If they could get the Wantian Ho's son, then, in the future, as long as they nurtured the young Wantian Ho, it was equivalent to having one more top expert. This was for any faction. It was an extremely important matter. Therefore, those factions took the risk. They came to steal the Wantian Ho's son. Moreover, those people had actually succeeded. Logically speaking, after those people stole Wantian Ho's offspring, Wantian Ho should be able to form a connection with it. But based on the current situation, Wantian Ho couldn't sense the whereabouts of its offspring. It was likely that the other party had already made all the necessary preparations. However, it was impossible for those who had stolen the Wantian Ho's child to leave the ancient Cloud Heaven Forest immediately. After all, the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest was simply too big. It would take some time to leave this place. Wantian Ho gave the order to the Beast Kings. The Beast Horde in the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest would launch a beast wave. No matter who they saw, they would kill them without mercy. The Beast Kings quickly left after receiving the news. This is bad. The Heaven-Gazing Ho has given the order to the Beast King. The Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest is going to launch a beast wave. Our plan must be put on hold for the time being. We need to retreat for now. Or else. Once the beast tide erupts, I'm afraid it won't be easy to escape. Lin Feng's face suddenly darkened. When Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage heard the words, beast tide, they were stunned. They couldn't help but tremble in fear. The beast tide was definitely one of the most terrifying disasters in the world of cultivators. When the beast tide was launched, countless beasts would gather together, and under the leadership of those powerful beast kings, they would sweep through everything. If any powerful cultivator was drowned by the beast tide, most likely, only death awaited them. Because when the beast tide was launched, there would be an endless number of beasts. How many beasts could one person kill? Those endless beasts stood there motionless. If one wanted to kill those beasts, one would be exhausted. Not to mention, one wouldn't have the chance to attack the beasts all the time. Once one was surrounded by the army of beasts. At that time, all kinds of attacks would come from all directions. As the saying goes, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands. Not to mention the divine ability that covered the sky and earth? It was simply impossible to guard against. Of course, this wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that those powerful beast kings were sitting in the army of beasts. If those powerful beast kings were to attack, dealing with those powerful beast kings was already as difficult as ascending to the heavens. In addition to the attack of the army of beasts, it was simply a disaster. It was simply despairing. So, no one wanted to encounter a beast tide. And Wang Tianhou, this beast emperor, wouldn't easily launch a beast tide. Because it had a tacit understanding with some of the top forces in the outside world. This tacit understanding meant that those big forces in the outside world wouldn't easily attack the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest. But the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest's Beast Emperor also couldn't casually launch a beast tide to kill cultivators who entered the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest. The prerequisite for this tacit understanding was that one couldn't anger this Beast Emperor. If one angered it, it naturally wouldn't abide by the rules formed by this tacit understanding. Lin Feng and the other 2 quickly left. They wanted to take advantage of the beast tide to leave quickly, but they still didn't have the time to leave. There was a special way of communication between the beasts. For example, the roar of the beast could spread news. When the Beast King roared, countless beasts responded. When more and more beasts responded, the ferocious beasts roared in unison. At that time, all the beasts in the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest were alarmed. Thus, the beast tide was launched just like that. In the forest, there were berserk beasts everywhere. And in the sky, there was an endless army of birds. There were all kinds of bats, flying dragons, giant dragons, eagles, rocks, and other flying beasts. They covered the sky. Beast tide, it's a beast tide, quickly run! Countless cultivators in the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest cried out in fear. They wanted to quickly leave the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest, but they soon found that they had nowhere to run. Whether it was in the ancient forest, or in the sky, there were terrifying birds and beasts everywhere. No matter where they went, they would be attacked by those birds and beasts. Damn it! I don't know which immoral bastard did this time. Who knows how many people will be implicated to death by them? Lin Feng couldn't help but curse. Along the way, they saw many cultivators who entered the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest to explore being drowned by the beast tide. It was really too scary. Even if their cultivation was high, they couldn't hold on for too long. Lin Feng and the others were also attacked by many beasts, but fortunately, they didn't meet any Beast King level existences. If they met any Beast King level existences, it would be very troublesome. Because those Beast Kings only needed to stall you. Then, they could summon the other Beast Kings and the army of beasts. Thinking about that scene, it was really despairing. Moreover, among the Beast Kings here, there was no lack of top-notch experts. Those existences were not early-stage true immortals. They were all middle or high-stage true immortals. It was simply unimaginable. Suddenly, a cold aura spread out. Lin Feng and the other 2 looked in the direction of that cold aura. They saw that on a mountain peak not far away. That Beast King level Titan looked at the 3 of them coldly. A large number of beasts rushed over from all directions. That Titan had the intention to kill Lin Feng and the other 2. Chapter 4782. This was already the second time Lin Feng and the other two had seen this titan. Last time, this titan was alone. This titan felt that Lin Feng was not to be trifled with. In addition, its goal was the sunflower. After obtaining the sunflower, it was in a hurry to refine the sunflower, so it ignored Lin Feng and the others. And at this moment, this titan's cultivation had greatly increased after refining the sunflower. In addition, a large number of beasts around had already come to support it. Therefore, this titan was naturally confident in killing Lin Feng and the others. "We're finished," Hannah Mirage said with a pale face. Hannah Jinsey also had a look of despair on her face. Surrounded by an army led by a beast king. Such a scene. Anyone who encountered it would feel that something was wrong. Lin Feng waved his hand. The swarm of demon refining insects and celestial devouring insects all flew out. The swarm of insects that blotted out the sky surrounded Lin Feng and the others. After seeing this scene, the titan couldn't help but frown slightly. The two insect swarms that Lin Feng summoned were obviously not simple. It was naturally not a problem to summon other beast kings to deal with Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng was such a strong cultivator, if he really wanted to fight back, when the time came, its subordinates would also suffer heavy losses. In fact, these beast king level existences would also secretly scheme against each other. This titan naturally didn't want its subordinates to die miserably at the hands of Lin Feng. "This human cultivator is really not simple. Forget it, let's leave him to the other beast kings. There must be many beast kings who want to kill him." The titan couldn't help but mutter to himself. Then, he soared into the sky and rushed into the distance. And the army of beasts that followed the titan beast king turned around and rushed into the distance. "Out of danger?" Hannah Mirage had an expression of disbelief. Until now, she still couldn't believe that the titan beast king would choose to leave. "Gee, was it your insect swarm that scared away the titan beast king? But that shouldn't be the case. The titan beast king is very powerful, and the beast horde has already come. It shouldn't be scared away by the insect swarm you summon." Then, Hannah Mirage was puzzled. Lin Feng said, "Maybe it's because the Titan Beast King found a new target, and it obviously wanted to kill the new target even more, so it left. It's not good to stay here for long, let's leave this place." Lin Feng sent the two swarms of insects to return to time and space. He didn't dare to let the two swarms. The two swarms were too big of a target beast king with the beast king with the beast horde. Hua Huanqi was not as gullible as Hua Huanyue. She had some doubts, she had a vague feeling. The beast king it was definitely related to Lin Feng. The three of them didn't stay and quickly left. They were attacked by many beasts. But fortunately, the three of them had extraordinary methods, and many powerful beasts were killed by the three of them. However, the beast horde had completely engulfed the entire Cloud Heaven ancient forest. So, it was too difficult to leave the Cloud Heaven ancient forest unscathed. The best way now was to find a place to hide. But a normal place obviously wouldn't work. Even if he set up a restriction. Because there were beasts everywhere, setting up a restriction would take time. When setting up a restriction, he would definitely be discovered by the beasts. When the time came, if the beasts attracted the army of beasts, wouldn't they be caught like turtles in a jar? Even if they could hide from the beasts, and successfully set up the restriction. However, in the army of beasts, there would definitely be some beasts who were especially sensitive to the power of the restriction. Once those beasts sensed the power of the restriction, they would definitely attract the army of beasts. At that time, the situation would still be extremely bad. Therefore, the place that Lin Feng was looking for was a naturally dangerous place. This kind of place. It was extremely dangerous. Hiding in this kind of place. Perhaps when those beasts saw cultivators enter those places, they would also think that the cultivators who entered would most likely die in the dangerous places. Those beasts naturally wouldn't take the risk to chase in. This kind of place was usually safer. Of course. Just as those beasts thought, this kind of place was very dangerous. The probability of cultivators who hid in it dying was extremely high. hiding in such a place. It was a huge risk in itself. However, right now, this was the best way that Lin Feng could think of. If he was alone, it would be better. The key was to bring along Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage. Lin Feng couldn't possibly put the two girls into the time and space. This would expose one of his biggest secrets. Other than the people closest to him, this secret couldn't be exposed. Once the news was leaked out, it would be very disadvantageous to him. As for the good fortune gourd and the 4 ferocious cauldrons, they were naturally not suitable for the two sisters to enter. This kind of place would be very harmful to their bodies. Generally, it was a place where Lin Feng suppressed great enemies or refined them to death. Fortunately, Lin Feng's methods were extraordinary. In the end, he found an extremely dangerous place. This area was a gloomy forest. It emitted a cold and terrifying power. After feeling the cold and terrifying power, Yi Zichen was shocked. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. "Let's go inside and hide for a while," Lin Feng said. Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage quickly nodded. They were completely frightened by the beast's tide. If Lin Feng wasn't here, the two sisters would have been eaten by the beasts many times. Women's psychological quality was often much worse than men's, especially when they encountered some major events. Their psychological fluctuations would be very intense. Perhaps this was the reason why there were fewer women among the top experts in the world of cultivators. And whether it was the world of cultivators or the secular world, it had always been a world of male dominance. Most women were vassals. There was a reason for this. Of course, there was no lack of women with extraordinary strength. For example, a woman like the Red World Fairy. She deserved the praise of "Who said that women are inferior to men?" However, how many women like immortal Venerable Hongchun were there in the myriad of worlds? The three of them walked towards this dark ancient forest. As soon as they entered, they saw a large number of skeletons piled up in the forest. Most of them were the skeletons of dead beasts. Some of them, they were the skeletons of cultivators. This was only the periphery, and so many creatures had already died. They didn't know what was going on inside. However, Lin Feng and the other two didn't intend to go deeper. They planned to wait in the periphery for a while. The three of them were planning to find a place to rest. However, at this moment, the voices of cultivators came from outside. Lin Feng and the other two couldn't help but frown slightly. It seemed that someone had the same plan as Lin Feng. They wanted to hide in this place for a while. Not long after, more than a dozen cultivators walked in. When those cultivators saw Lin Feng and the other two inside, they couldn't help but reveal a surprised expression. Obviously, before this, they didn't expect that there would be other cultivators here. Chapter 4783. "Young master, look," one of the cultivators said. He pointed at the sisters Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage. The cultivator called young master looked quite young, but in fact, he had been cultivating for more than 300,000 years. Of course, cultivators had a long lifespan. Cultivating for more than 300,000 years was like 3 years for ordinary people. For cultivators with a long lifespan, more than 300,000 years was nothing. The young master was wearing a purple robe. He was rather handsome. However, his long and narrow eyes ruined his handsome face. It made him give off a gloomy and terrifying feeling. And his eyes were extremely evil. When he looked at the sisters Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage, his eyes suddenly revealed an evil gaze. These people, they were evil cultivators. When they came in, Lin Feng had already felt the evil aura emitted from these people. Although there were evil cultivators who were kind, but most evil cultivators were not good people. And these people in front of him were probably not good people either. "Fairies, I am Guitianyu of the Holy Evil Sect. How should I address you?" The young master first introduced himself. Then, he revealed his purpose. He began to beat around the bush to find out the identities of the sisters Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage. After hearing the 3 words Holy Evil Sect, The pretty faces of the sisters Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage changed slightly. Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. This holy evil sect was an extremely terrifying sect. It was said that it was one of the 7 evil forces in the Undying Realm. And it had been rooted in the Undying Realm for countless years. Its foundation was strong. It was simply unimaginable. It was said that the founder of the holy evil sect was a famous expert. This illustrious expert. It was said that he was an evil god. The 9 evil gods of the era of titled gods. Any one of them was in existence that shocked the past and the present. They were at the level of the Lord God, the master god of the era of titled gods. It was equivalent to the current sage realm cultivators. Therefore, one could only imagine how terrifying the holy evil sect was. This was a top force that had existed since the era of the titled gods. Even now, it was still flourishing. Just like the heavenly court of the Undying Realm, it would experience ups and downs. It had once been powerful. He had once been weak. Only some of the top forces that had been passed down from the era of the titled gods were relatively stable. Although there would be fluctuations in strength, these fluctuations were within a controllable range. This kind of fluctuation was actually not that big. Therefore, a force like the holy evil sect was definitely a terrifying force that no one dared to provoke. "We've only met by chance, so why ask for his name?" Hannah Jinsey said calmly. She didn't want to have anything to do with Guitianyu. Guitianyu's gaze made her feel very uncomfortable. Instead, it was Lin Feng's gaze that made her feel very comfortable. Although there were times Lin Feng seemed to have a glib tongue. But Hannah Jinsey knew. Lin Feng was just casually saying it. Because Lin Feng's gaze didn't have that kind of filthy gaze. Hannah Jinsey had always believed that the eyes were the window to the inner world of people. Lin Feng's gaze was so pure. How could it be a person with a heart full of filthy thoughts? "Presumptuous, my young master took the initiative to talk to you. It's your fortune from your previous life. How dare you reject my young master here? I think you're going to do it the hard way." A cultivator looked coldly at Hannah Jinsey. He had a high and mighty attitude. These people came from big forces, so their attitude had always been extremely arrogant. "It's our right to befriend whoever we want," Hannah Mirage said. Guitianyu smiled and said, "This fairy's words are quite reasonable. However, this place is different from the outside world. This is the Cloud Heaven Ancient Forest, a place that eats people without spitting out their bones. The weak have no right to speak here, and no matter what happens here, the people outside won't know. So in this place, your best choice is to please this young master. What do you want us to do?" Hannah Jinsey asked with an ugly expression. She naturally knew that Guitianyu was up to no good. These evil cultivators were often lawless when they were outside. Guitianyu's aura was extremely evil. Obviously. This person was definitely not a good person. This young master has been chased by a group of beasts for a long time. My heart is full of anger, and my body is also full of anger. You 2 sisters help this young master vent his anger, and this young master won't make things difficult for you. Shameless! When Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage heard Guitianyu's words, their faces turned green with anger. Both of them looked at Guitianyu angrily. TSK, you have character. This young master likes women like you. If women are too obedient, it would be boring. Guitianyu suddenly laughed out loud. And Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage's expressions became even uglier. When had they ever seen someone as shameless as Guitianyu? Now Hannah Mirage even felt that in front of Guitianyu. Lin Feng was really a good person. However, the other party had the advantage in numbers. The current situation was obviously not good for them. Ha ha ha, I like it when people call me shameless, because I am shameless. Don't worry, I am much better than that useless gigolo beside you. Guitianyu laughed and said. Lin Feng couldn't help but touch his nose. Wasn't the gigolo this grandson was talking about him? He had always wanted to be a low-profile man. Why? There were always people who didn't have eyes and came looking for him to abuse. Since the other party was looking for death, Lin Feng naturally didn't mind helping these people. To these people, there was no need to have any mercy at all. Killing them was to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. Do you have any more beautiful women in your family? Lin Feng looked at Gui Tianyu and said. Gui Tianyu was slightly stunned. He didn't know why Lin Feng would ask such a question. He subconsciously nodded and said, Of course there are beautiful women. Our family is a family with high attractiveness. Lin Feng suddenly smiled and said, Whether I am good-looking or not, you don't have the final say. You can find the beautiful women in your family to have a romantic date with me. They will soon know whether I am good-looking or not. Pfft. Hannah Mirage suddenly laughed. Although Lin Feng's words were a little obscene, it was definitely infuriating. Brat, you dare to tease me like this? Are you looking for death? Chapter 4784. Do you think you're qualified to say such words to me? You don't even know how much you're worth. You really think that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can jump out? Lin Feng said indifferently. Hearing Lin Feng's words, Gui Tianyu's face became more and more gloomy. Lin Feng actually dared to humiliate him like this. It was obvious that he looked down on him. This made Gui Tianyu extremely angry. After all, Gui Tianyu was a cultivator in the celestial immortal realm, and came from a large force. There were not many people who dared to provoke him. Lin Feng was just a young human cultivator. In Gui Tianyu's opinion, killing Lin Feng was no different from killing an ant. It was fine if he was looked down on by experts, but it was normal for him to be looked down on when his strength was inferior. Even if he was looked down on by cultivators of similar strength, Gui Tianyu would not be so angry. But how could a young human cultivator like Lin Feng be qualified to look down on him? This was what Gui Tianyu was most angry about. At this time, Hannah Jinsei and Hannah Mirage also came back to their senses. When Lin Feng mocked Gui Tianyu previously, they felt very relieved, but when they thought of the difference in strength between the two sides, then they thought of the identity of Gui Tianyu's group. Lin Feng now said something to humiliate Gui Tianyu. Gui Tianyu and the others would definitely not let this go. Hannah Jinsei and Hannah Mirage did not blame Lin Feng for causing trouble, because Hannah Jinsei and Hannah Mirage were also full of disgust towards Gui Tianyu. Hannah Jinsei had always suspected that Lin Feng might have an extraordinary identity or strength. Now, she could take this opportunity to observe. Hannah Mirage planned to find a chance to break out of the encirclement with Lin Feng and her sister Hannah Jinsei. Although the two sisters had different thoughts, they had one thing in common. Now, they planned to wait and see. Even if he chose to break out of the encirclement, he also needed to find a more appropriate time. It's been a long time since someone provoked me like this. Since you want to die, I can fulfill your wish. However, I won't kill you immediately. Are these two women your women? In a moment, this young master will let you watch an erotic scene. Gui Tianyu's eyes revealed an extremely evil gaze. Hannah Jinsei and Hannah Mirage were furious when they heard Gui Tianyu's words. They were all cursing Gui Tianyu in their hearts. Lin Feng shook his head and said, You're about to die, yet you're still so smug and self-righteous. What a clown! The corner of Gui Tianyu's mouth twitched violently. Lin Feng had once again mercilessly humiliated him. He really couldn't understand. Lin Feng was such a weak cultivator. Why did he have the guts to humiliate him? Who gave him the guts? And Hannah Jinsei was even more certain that Lin Feng wasn't an ordinary person. Because Lin Feng wasn't stupid. Since Lin Feng wasn't stupid, if he didn't have the strength, would he dare to humiliate Gui Tianyu like this? Gui Tianyu was an evil cultivator who killed without batting an eyelid. After humiliating Gui Tianyu, he didn't have enough strength to fight against Gui Tianyu. Then, when the time came, he was destined to die. Therefore, Hannah Jinsei felt that Lin Feng must be extremely extraordinary. Everything might be revealed later. If she guessed wrong, when the time came, she would break out of the encirclement with Lin Feng and Hannah Mirage. As for Hannah Mirage, she didn't think so much. She only felt that Lin Feng was really arrogant to the extreme. at this time. Yet he was still able to take his time to act tough. This made Hannah Mirage extremely admire Lin Feng. Now, the way she looked at Lin Feng seemed to be more and more pleasing to the eye. "Catch this kid for me," Gui Tianyu ordered with a gloomy expression. He didn't want to continue arguing with Lin Feng, because that would infuriate him to death. After receiving Gui Tianyu's order, 2 cultivators immediately pounced towards Lin Feng. "Kid, offending our young master is simply a sin worthy of death." The 2 cultivators who pounced towards Lin Feng looked at Lin Feng with a sinister smile on their faces. In their opinion, Lin Feng was almost no different from a dead man. What they had to do now was to quickly catch Lin Feng. And this matter was naturally a very simple matter for them. As for Hannah Mirage, she had already planned to make her move. Hannah Mirage had always felt that Lin Feng's strength wasn't very good. So, she naturally wouldn't let Lin Feng face the dangerous situation in front of him alone. But at this moment, Lin Feng raised his right hand unhurriedly. Then, he flicked his finger. Buzz! Accompanied by the sound of sword chi shaking the void, a sword chi directly flew out. The sword chi split into 2 in the void and slashed towards the 2 cultivators who pounced towards Lin Feng. Pft! Pft! Accompanied by 2 tearing sounds. The 2 cultivators had yet to come back to their senses. They had already been killed by Lin Feng's sword chi. What's going on? Seeing this scene, Hannah Mirage was dumbfounded. When did Lin Feng become so powerful? Was this still the Lin Feng she knew? He's really not simple. Hannah Jinsei's eyes lit up slightly. Now that Lin Feng had made his move, he instantly killed 2 itinerant immortal level cultivators. This also proved Hannah Jinsei's previous conjecture. Gui Tianyu also did not expect such a thing to happen. In his opinion, Lin Feng's realm was not high. And Lin Feng was so young. It was normal for his cultivation level not to be high. But this was not the case. Lin Feng was able to kill his 2 subordinates in an instant, which meant that Lin Feng was at least at the human immortal level. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to kill his 2 subordinates so easily. Attack together! Take him down! Gui Tianyu was a cautious person, so he asked the rest of the people to attack. He did this just in case. Die, strip, take! Lin Feng's cold voice suddenly sounded. The cultivators who rushed towards Lin Feng, their bodies were aging at a speed visible to the naked eye. No, 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 spare us, we are all subordinates, we can't resist Gui Tianyu's orders. The group of cultivators cried out in horror. In the face of death. The so-called loyalty. It had long been thrown beyond the 9 heavens by these people. Gui Tianyu's face could not help but darken. He was still standing here. These people dared to betray him. This made Gui Tianyu angry. Incomparable anger. Heavens, this guy is so terrifying. Hannah Mirage could not help but exclaim. Lin Feng's methods were too terrifying. Was this guy really the G, who was often chased up and down by her and was in a sorry state? Could it be that he is interested in me, so he is deliberately letting me go? Hannah Mirage could not help but think of a certain possibility. Chapter 4785. Lin Feng did not let these cultivators go just because they begged for mercy. A group of unpardonable people. Who knew how many unspeakable evil deeds they had committed? Could it be because they begged for mercy? Was he going to let them live? This was too saintly. Lin Feng was not someone with such a character. If people don't offend me, I don't offend people. If people offend me, I will return it 10 times, 100 times. So, for these people, Lin Feng only had one word. That was to kill. Lin Feng's death deprivation was extremely terrifying. Those cultivators were unable to resist the attack of death deprivation at all. Therefore, those cultivators' lives were drained extremely quickly. In a short period of time, those cultivators' lives had already been drained. One by one, the cultivators turned into bones, and then scattered on the ground. Such a divine ability was simply too shocking. That was a group of living cultivators. In the blink of an eye, they had turned into a pile of bones. Anyone who saw such an ability would feel incredulous. They would all feel incomparably shocked. For example, the sisters Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage. Each of their red lips were slightly open. That kind of appearance was really charming and seductive. Seeing this scene, how could Gui Tianyu dare to stay? Without saying a word, he turned around and fled. Although Gui Tianyu's cultivation was at the celestial immortal realm, Gui Tianyu could not kill so many cultivators in a short period of time. And Lin Feng's methods were simply too terrifying. Gui Tianyu knew that he had kicked an iron plate today. Therefore, at this time, he had to leave quickly. Otherwise, it was very likely that he would die in Lin Feng's hands. Moreover, a wise man does not fight when the odds are against him. The temporary forbearance was for the sake of revenge in the future. Wasn't there a saying that it was never too late for a gentleman to take revenge? Gui Tianyu comforted himself with such a sentence. This guy's skin was extraordinarily thick. He actually compared himself to a gentleman. Gui Tianyu even thought in his heart that when reinforcements came, he would definitely turn Lin Feng into ashes. However, sometimes dreams were beautiful, but reality was cruel. Lin Feng naturally wouldn't let Gui Tianyu go. Seeing that Gui Tianyu wanted to escape, Lin Feng opened his big hand and blasted a palm towards Gui Tianyu. A giant energy handprint condensed in the void. The energy palm directly enveloped Gui Tianyu. The power contained in that energy palm was simply too shocking. Therefore, when Gui Tianyu sensed the power contained in the energy handprint, he was shocked. His expression became extremely ugly. He had no choice but to stop and resist Lin Feng's terrifying attack. Bam! Along with the sound of a violent collision, Gui Tianyu and Lin Feng's energy palm collided together. Gui Tianyu immediately flew out like a kite with a broken string. In midair, he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. After seeing this scene, Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage were shocked. Gui Tianyu was a heavenly immortal expert. In Lin Feng's hands, he couldn't even resist one move. It was simply too shocking. Of course, Hannah Jinsey had previously guessed Lin Feng's strength. Therefore, after seeing this scene, although she was shocked, however, after all, she was still somewhat mentally prepared. Unlike Hannah Mirage, she wasn't mentally prepared at all. At this moment, her heart was filled with mixed feelings. The gaze she looked at Lin Feng with was also rather complicated. The main reason was that Hannah Mirage now had more thoughts. She felt that Lin Feng might be interested in her. Therefore, there was an indescribable feeling in her heart. It seemed to be joy, it seemed to be shyness, it seemed to be as if she didn't know how to face Lin Feng. Lin Feng naturally didn't know what Hannah Mirage was thinking. After injuring Gui Tianyu with a palm, Lin Feng directly suppressed Gui Tianyu. "Brother, I am from the Holy Evil Sect. If you kill me, the Holy Evil Sect will definitely know. By then, you will provoke the Holy Evil Sect. If you don't kill me, I will definitely not find trouble with you in the future," Gui Tianyu said. First, he used the Holy Evil Sect to threaten Lin Feng. Then, he said some nice words. If it was someone else, they might really let Gui Tianyu go. After all, no one would want to provoke the Holy Evil Sect. However, Lin Feng didn't intend to let this guy go. So what if he was from the Holy Evil Sect? It was an evil sect. If they really dared to find trouble with him, he didn't mind killing more Holy Evil Sect cultivators. Killing them was also doing justice for the heavens. He didn't know how many innocent people he could save. This was a good thing to accumulate good karma. Therefore, Gui Tianyu's threats were useless against Lin Feng. Lin Feng said indifferently, "The reputation of the Holy Evil Sect can't save your life. Let me search your soul and see how many dirty things the Holy Evil Sect has done." "No, don't search my soul. There is a very special seal in my soul. If you search my soul, I will die a horrible death," Gui Tianyu shouted in horror. "As long as you let me go, I will tell you a secret." "Secret? What secret?" Lin Feng looked at Gui Tianyu in surprise. "Promise not to kill me first, then I will tell you the secret." Otherwise, I would rather die. Guitianyu gritted his teeth and said, Okay. I promise not to kill you. Lin Feng nodded and said. Guitianyu was overjoyed. Finally, he could save his life. He said, The chaos in the depths of the Beast Emperor realm is actually because the 5 major factions joined forces to steal a baby Wang Tianhou. Lin Feng knew that the baby Wang Tianhou had been stolen, but Lin Feng didn't know who had stolen it. Therefore, when Guitianyu said that the 5 major factions had joined forces to steal the baby Wang Tianhou, Lin Feng was shocked. Lin Feng was still quite surprised. It's you bastards from the major factions who stole the baby Wang Tianhou and implicated so many innocent people. You all deserve to die. Hannah Mirage was a person who hated evil. Therefore, when she heard Guitianyu's words, she was furious. Guitianyu said with a bitter smile, Fairy, this has nothing to do with me. The decision was made by the upper echelons of the sect. Hannah Mirage snorted and ignored Guitianyu. Lin Feng asked, The 5 major factions you mentioned, other than the Holy Demon sect, who are the other 4? Guitianyu didn't hide anything and said, The 4 major factions are the Myriad Poison sect, the 1,000 Opportunities sect, the Blood Demon sect, and the Soul Devourer Palace. Among the 4 major factions, Lin Feng had already met the Myriad Poison sect. Previously, cultivators from this sect had tried to kill Hannah Jinsei and Hannah Mirage. Chapter 4786. What are these forces? Lin Feng asked. Guitianyu said, 1,000 Poison sect and 1,000 G sect are both forces in Baigu region. One is a demonic sect, while the other is both righteous and evil. 1,000 G sect's style of doing things is based on their preferences. Blood Refining Demon sect and Soul Devourer Palace are both forces in Qingmo region. However, these 2 forces have connections with many forces in Baigu region. Soul Devourer Palace attracted Lin Feng's attention. Lin Feng remembered that when he was 15 or 16 years old, he had just obtained a demonic pearl. He had also cultivated the Archean Dragonesque Elephant technique. At that time, he had gone out to gain experience and met Murong Shui. Apart from Murong Shui, he had also met a group of people from Soul Devourer Palace. He had joined forces with Murong Shui. They had fought with a group of people from Soul Devourer Palace. Was this Soul Devourer Palace related to the Soul Devourer Palace in the Undying World? Of course, it might just be the same name. Moreover, the Soul Devourer Palace in Tianwu continent had long been extinct. How should the 5 forces distribute the Wang Tianhou cub that they stole? After all, there is only one Wang Tianhou cub. Lin Feng looked at Guitianyu and asked. Guitianyu said, As far as I know, the 5 forces didn't steal the Wang Tianhou cub to cultivate it. They just wanted the origin blood of the Wang Tianhou cub. The origin blood of the Wang Tianhou cub? What do they want it for? Lin Feng asked curiously. To refine the 1,000 Beasts pill. Guitianyu said. 1,000 Beasts pill? What kind of pill is that? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. It's said that it's a kind of divine pill that can steal the fortune of heaven and earth. After swallowing the 1,000 Beasts pill, the body will produce the power of 10,000 beasts. This power is very special. It can condense a Beast Emperor clone. The more power there is in the body, the stronger the clone will be. Guitianyu said. Lin Feng said. So, swallowing the 1,000 Beasts pill is equivalent to cultivating a clone. Guitianyu nodded and said. You can understand it that way. Hannah Jinsei said. The people from the 5 powers are really crazy. They didn't hesitate to offend the Heaven-Gazing Howler Beast King to steal the baby Heaven-Gazing Howler. However, the baby Heaven-Gazing Howler is such a heaven-defying creature. If it is cultivated, how terrifying will it be? The 5 great forces actually want to take the blood essence of the Heavenly Gazing Ho Cub to refine pills. Once the blood essence is taken away, the Heavenly Gazing Ho Cub will die very quickly. This is too cruel, and it's a pity for such a young beast emperor. Lin Feng said. The 5 major forces obviously don't think so. They want to quickly improve their cultivation. Lin Feng then looked at Guitianyu and asked, "Where is the infant sky-gazing Ho?" Guitianyu said, "They are with the 5 true immortals." "I don't know which true immortal he is with." "Why aren't you with the 5 true immortals?" Lin Feng asked. Guitianyu smiled bitterly and said, "We were separated by the beast tide, that's why we were separated." "Do you have a way to find the 5 true immortals?" Lin Feng asked. Guitianyu said, "I only have a way to find the true immortal of our holy evil sect. If the true immortal old ancestor of our holy evil sect is with the other true immortals, then we can find the other 4 true immortals." "What's the way to find the old ancestor of the holy evil sect?" Lin Feng asked. "I have a jade pendant in my storage ring. That jade pendant is very special. It can create a very special connection with the jade pendant on the old ancestor of the holy evil sect. With the connection between the 2 jade pendants, we should be able to find the old ancestor of the holy evil sect," Guitianyu said. "That's good." Lin Feng nodded and smiled. "I've said what I wanted to say. Can you let me go now?" Guitianyu asked. Lin Feng's lips curled into a cold smile. "Let you go? Are you daydreaming?" After hearing Lin Feng's words, Guitianyu's face turned pale. He still wanted to find a chance to take revenge after he got out of this place. When the time came, he would cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces and cut him into 10,000 pieces. However, now, Lin Feng actually went back on his words. Guitianyu said with a pale face, "You said that you would spare my life. Are you going back on your words? If you don't keep your words, you will have an inner demon in your heart when you cultivate in the future. At that time, you might go crazy and die." Lin Feng said, "I didn't go back on my words. I only said that I wouldn't kill you. However, I didn't say that the 2 fairies beside me wouldn't kill you. You lied to me." Guitianyu looked at Lin Feng with hatred. If looks could kill, Lin Feng would have been killed 1,000,000 times by Guitianyu's gaze. Lin Feng sneered. "Lied to you? Do you think you have the qualifications to be lied to by me? I said I wouldn't kill you, so I won't kill you. I fulfilled my duty. I have a clear conscience. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself for not saying it clearly." Lin Feng's gaze then looked at the 2 sisters, Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage. "Which one of you killed this guy?" Lin Feng asked. Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage naturally hated Guitianyu to the core. Especially. Previously, Guitianyu had bad intentions towards the 2 sisters. Now there was a chance to kill Guitianyu. The 2 sisters naturally wouldn't let it go. "Let me," Hana Mirage said. Seeing that her sister wanted to kill Guitianyu, Hana Jinsi didn't say anything. She gave this opportunity to Hana Mirage. "Don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I don't want to die. As long as you don't kill me, I'm willing to do anything for you." Guitianyu immediately begged for mercy. Previously, he was still acting all high and mighty. But now, he had become a prisoner. This difference made Guitianyu feel like he was about to go crazy. However, the most important thing now was obviously not a matter of face. It was whether he could save his life. A dead person was like a lamp going out. Everything was empty. Guitianyu didn't want to die. "Now you know to beg for mercy? Don't you think it's too late?" Hana Mirage said with a sneer. She took out a short blade and held it in her hand. "Because of the greed of the 5 forces, how many people have died? Today, I'll kill you as a sacrifice to the souls of those dead cultivators," Hana Mirage said coldly. Immediately, she held the short blade in her hand and stabbed towards Guitianyu's chest. "No!" Guitianyu cried out in horror. But nothing could stop Hana Mirage. Puff! A sound of flesh piercing through flesh was heard. Chapter 4787. Guitianyu's eyes were wide open. Maybe until he died. He couldn't believe that he died just like that. He felt that his consciousness was instantly swallowed by darkness. Then, his body fell to the ground. Lin Feng took off his storage ring. Then, he took out the jade pendant from the storage ring. He used his divine thought to invade the jade pendant and felt a very weak fluctuation. And this fluctuation should be a special connection with the jade pendant of the true immortal expert of the holy evil sect. Look, his body is changing! Suddenly, Hannah Mirage exclaimed. She pointed to Guitianu's body. Lin Feng looked over. He immediately saw. Guitianu's body was quickly drying up. In the blink of an eye, his body became a mummy. What's going on? Hannah Jinsey said with a pale face. The scene in front of them was really too strange. And often the unknown was the most terrifying thing. Just like what happened in front of them, everything was unknown, so it was also terrifying. It was simply hair-raising. Anyone who saw this scene would have such a feeling. His flesh and blood essence have been sucked dry, Lin Feng said with a dignified expression. Suddenly, Lin Feng felt that his blood flowed much faster. This was the ability of sudden inspiration. This meant that there was going to be danger. Although Lin Feng didn't know what the danger was, his actions were extremely fast. Lin Feng's left hand hugged Hannah Jinsey's slender waist, and his right hand hugged Hannah Mirage's slender waist. After hugging the two, Lin Feng rushed out. He felt that there might be some unpredictable danger in this place, so it was better to leave this place quickly. After leaving, he would find another place to hide. After Lin Feng hugged Lin Feng's waist, Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage's pretty faces couldn't help but become rosy. Hannah Jinsey had always been curious about Lin Feng. And when a woman was curious about a man, it was often the most dangerous time. Hannah Jinsey enjoyed the process of slowly getting to know Lin Feng. So Hannah Jinsey didn't reject Lin Feng. Of course. Although she didn't reject Lin Feng. But when Lin Feng hugged her waist, Hannah Jinsey still felt shy. Hannah Jinsey didn't have much contact with men, let alone physical contact with men. Therefore, when Lin Feng hugged her waist, she was so shy. That bashful look on her face was truly indescribably beautiful. It was a pity that Lin Feng's mind was now on leaving the dark ancient forest, so he didn't notice the change in Hannah Jinsey's expression at this moment. As for Hannah Mirage, she was a little happy. Hannah Mirage didn't hate some physical contact with Lin Feng. Even Hua Huanyue herself was taken aback by this thought. Lin Feng didn't know what the inner world of Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage was like, and he didn't have time to guess. At this moment, Lin Feng was about to rush out with Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage. But at this moment, the whole dark ancient forest became dark, and the surrounding roads disappeared without a trace. The ancient gloomy forest seemed to have become an independent world in an instant. Therefore, Lin Feng also lost the direction to go forward. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. It seemed that the other party had already made a move to trap them here. It was just that he didn't know what kind of existence the other party was. "Who are you? You can show yourself," Lin Feng said in a deep voice. Hee hee hee. A burst of gloomy laughter suddenly came out. "Kid, your psychological quality is not bad. Many powerful cultivators would be scared out of their wits after encountering an unforeseen event here, but you're so calm. It's a little unbelievable." After that burst of gloomy laughter, a voice sounded. It should be the mysterious existence in the dark, but he didn't show himself. Lin Feng said. "Anyway, we're already trapped here. Can panic solve the problem? Everyone knows the reason. Reasoning is something like this. Many people can do it too. But the point is, when something happens, how many people can calmly deal with it?" The existence said. Said Lin Feng. "Now that you're talking about it, I realize that I have many strengths. I just don't know if I can be proud of myself or not." "Of course you can, but unfortunately you're not strong enough. Therefore, you're destined to become a skeleton here today." As soon as the voice finished speaking, an invisible pressure enveloped them. When he felt that invisible pressure, Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. That formless pressure was simply too terrifying. Even he had a feeling of being overwhelmed with shock. Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage couldn't resist that invisible pressure at all. Lin Feng hurriedly released 4 types of hockey. The 4 types of hockey formed the hockey magnetic field that enveloped him, Hannah Jinsey, and Hannah Mirage. With the protection of the domineering magnetic field, the invisible pressure was blocked. 4 types of hockey. You're really a powerful person. You already have 4 types of hockey at such a young age. Countless cultivators dream of having a domineering aura one day, but even until death, they never experience what it feels like to have a domineering aura. Yet you've mastered so many types of domineering auras. It's really like the old saying, comparisons are odious. The mysterious existence's voice sounded again. Said Lin Feng. Your Excellency, there's no need to be so calculative with us. If you let us go, we'll become friends. What do you think, Your Excellency? Good relationship? Hee hee. A junior like you isn't qualified to talk to me about this. The mysterious existence sneered. Lin Feng clearly felt that the terrifying pressure that permeated the mountain forest had disappeared. Obviously, the other party had removed that invisible pressure. However, Lin Feng didn't dare to be careless because he knew that the other party didn't intend to let the 3 of them go. Therefore, the other party must have a stronger attack. Strictly speaking, the terrifying pressure released by the mysterious existence just now couldn't be considered a real attack. One could imagine how terrifying it would be when the other party released his real attack. Buzz. In the darkness, a beam of light slashed toward them. It was a beam of light condensed from the power of darkness. The beam of light instantly tore through the void. It was so powerful. It was unbelievable. The beam of light quickly flew over and tore apart Lin Feng's hockey magnetic field. Then, it slashed toward Lin Feng. The beam of light, it wanted to split Lin Feng in half. Chapter 4788. The light beam was too powerful, so Lin Feng didn't dare to be careless. If he dared to be the slightest bit careless, he might be directly killed by the light beam. This was not something Lin Feng wanted to see. He still hadn't lived long enough. However, the power of the light beam made Lin Feng feel helpless. He could naturally take out some magic weapons to block the light beam. However, Lin Feng didn't have any confidence in those magic weapons. He didn't know if those magic weapons could block the light beam's attack. In the end, Lin Feng thought of something. Maybe he could use that thing to block the light beam's attack. The thing that Lin Feng thought of was none other than the mysterious iron box. The mysterious iron box was very terrifying. It had undergone a mutation not long ago. Therefore, taking out the mysterious iron box at this time might have a surprising effect. Lin Feng hurriedly took out the mysterious iron box. He held the mysterious iron box in his hand and swept it towards the light beam. When the light beam collided with the mysterious iron box, the light beam was instantly absorbed by the mysterious iron box. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng's face revealed a happy expression. The mysterious iron box was really awesome. That light beam was so powerful, but it didn't have any effect on the mysterious iron box. Instead, it was instantly swallowed by the mysterious iron box. The power of the mysterious iron box made people very happy. The 2 sisters Hannah Jinsey and Hannah Mirage also had an inconceivable expression. They had never seen the mysterious iron box before. This was the first time Lin Feng took out the mysterious iron box in front of them. It was just an iron box. Moreover, it was a rusty iron box. How could it be so powerful? The 2 sisters were puzzled. Now, Lin Feng's body seemed to be shrouded in a mysterious veil. That veil made the 2 sisters couldn't help but want to get closer and then remove the mysterious veil on Lin Feng's body. They were very curious about everything about Lin Feng. Before this, they didn't even dare to imagine that a cultivator at such a young age could have such an extraordinary method. Humph! The mysterious existence could not help but snort. It would appear that he did not recognize the mysterious iron box in Lin Feng's hand. Because anyone who recognized the existence of the mysterious iron box in Lin Feng's hands would panic. However, this mysterious existence appeared to be very calm. It was just that it was a little angry, because its attack was actually blocked by Lin Feng. Just a moment ago, he didn't put Lin Feng in his eyes. In the blink of an eye, its own attack had been neutralized by Lin Feng. Wasn't that the same as slapping its own face? At this moment, darkness surged towards Lin Feng, Hana Jinsi, and Hana Mirage. Darkness instantly engulfed the three of them. Next, the power of darkness pulled the three of them into the depths. After arriving in the depths of the forest, Lin Feng saw a mountain. There was a chain on top of the mountain. The other end of the chain stopped, locking down a creature. It was a giant demon. Its body was about 100 meters tall, and it seemed to be made of stone. Although this giant demon was locked down, its aura was still very terrifying. If it weren't for the fact that he was locked here and couldn't use his full strength, he didn't know how strong this giant demon would be. In fact, even now, he was still powerful to the point where people couldn't help but be shocked and moved. Lin Feng looked at the creature and said, "So you're a rock giant?" said the creature coldly. "Brat, you are the rock troll. Your whole family is rock troll. I am an incomparably noble dark troll. How can a lowly creature like a rock troll compare to me?" This fellow was obviously very conceited. This was because the rock troll was a rather high-level creature. However, it looked down on rock giants. "Who locked you up here?" Lin Feng asked. "Does it have anything to do with you?" the dark giant demon said coldly. Lin Feng shrugged and said, "Of course it has nothing to do with me. I was just casually asking. If you don't want to tell me, just pretend I didn't ask." He paused. Said Lin Feng, "Your Excellency, you're indeed very strong, but I have a precious treasure. If you want to kill us, it won't be easy. Why do you want to fight to the death and let both of us get injured? Why don't we each take a step back?" The rock giant's eyes flickered with an extremely gloomy light. The current situation was indeed as Lin Feng had said. Lin Feng had the mysterious metal box. Hence, it would be very difficult for the dark giant to kill Lin Feng. If they really fought, it was indeed possible for both sides to suffer. "Fine. I can agree to your request. However, you must help me with something," the dark giant demon said. "What is it?" Lin Feng asked. A crystal appeared in the dark giant's hand. It was a black crystal. However, Lin Feng didn't know what it was because he felt that it wasn't as simple as a crystal. Of course, Lin Feng didn't ask the dark giant about the crystal's origin. If the dark giant wanted to say, it would naturally tell him. If the dark giant didn't want to say, he could ask it himself. It still wouldn't tell him. "Take this crystal and go to the Dark Demon Mountain in the Heaven Realm. Give this crystal to the Dark Demon Queen," the dark giant demon said. "Dark Demon Queen? Who is she? Your wife?" Lin Feng asked. "She's my mother." The dark giant demon glared fiercely at Lin Feng. Sorry. I didn't mean to offend you," Lin Feng said. The dark giant demon didn't bother with Lin Feng. It continued, "Of course, I won't let you work for nothing. I have a piece of darkness stone here that I can give to you. Treat it as your reward." When he heard the word Stone of Darkness, Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The Stone of Darkness was rumored to be a supreme demon stone condensed from the Tao of Darkness. The Stone of Darkness was a very special item. If one could obtain the Stone of Darkness, then, cultivating various darkness attribute cultivation techniques and divine abilities would yield twice the results with half the effort. For example, the Great Darkness technique's cultivation speed would increase by leaps and bounds. Of course, this wasn't the most important use of the Stone of Darkness. The most important thing about the Stone of Darkness was that it was rumored to be a supreme demon stone that was born in the 33rd layer of the underworld. Moreover, the Stone of Darkness was one of the tokens to enter the 33rd layer of the underworld. The 33rd layer of the underworld was definitely an extremely high-level world with countless resources. Lin Feng had even heard rumors that the 33rd layer of the underworld was connected to the other world and the wasteland world. Chapter 4789. Whether these rumors were true or not was still uncertain. But as the saying goes, there's no smoke without fire. Since there were such rumors outside, perhaps they were true. And Lin Feng also made some guesses. The wasteland and the foreign world were incomparably mysterious. It was indeed very difficult to go to such places. But the three supreme realms were indeed connected to the wasteland and the foreign world. Since that was the case, where was the most likely place to connect the two? Lin Feng guessed that it should be the most important place in the three supreme realms. For example, the 33rd heaven of the heaven realm. Or the 33rd underworld. So Lin Feng felt that those rumors were very likely. Lin Feng was very curious about the underworld. He had only been to the first underworld. As for the rest of the underworld, Lin Feng was naturally filled with the desire to explore. Even if the 33rd underworld didn't have a passage to the wasteland or the foreign world. Lin Feng was also interested in exploring and seeing what kind of world the 33rd underworld was like. Lin Feng received the Stone of Darkness. Then he said, "I'll take the Stone of Darkness. Don't worry, I'll help you bring that crystal to your mother." Lin Feng didn't mention helping the Dark Troll escape. The Dark Troll didn't mention this either. Lin Feng sensed that there was something special about that place. With his current methods, it seemed that he couldn't help the Dark Troll escape. Of course, even if he could help the Dark Troll escape, Lin Feng wouldn't do so. Who knew what this fellow would do to him after it escaped? And the Dark Troll probably felt that he couldn't help it escape, so it didn't mention this request. "Then we'll take our leave," Lin Feng said, then walked out with Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage. And the Dark Troll didn't ask Lin Feng to stay. The three of them quickly arrived at the outer area of the Dark Ancient Forest. However, they didn't leave the Dark Ancient Forest. Now, Lin Feng and the Dark Troll had reached an agreement, so the Dark Troll wouldn't attack the three of them. The beasts tied outside had yet to disperse. Going out now was naturally not a wise move. Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage could not calm down. Originally, this should have been an extremely dangerous situation, but Lin Feng not only resolved this dangerous situation. Moreover, he had obtained benefits from the Dark Trolls. It was truly admirable. The two sisters had a lot of questions to ask Lin Feng. However, they didn't know where to start. The roars of the beasts outside continued. It would take some time for the beast tide to disperse. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. He was considering something. He was just a little hesitant. Now that Lin Feng had Guitianyi's jade pendant, he could use it to try and find the old ancestor of the Saint Evil sect. Perhaps when he found that old ancestor, he would also find the other four true immortal experts. Lin Feng wanted to see if there was a way to snatch the little beast emperor from the hands of the five true immortals. Lin Feng didn't want to cultivate the little beast emperor. After all, he already had many spiritual beasts here. Bibi and the others hadn't really grown up yet. Lin Feng also didn't have much time to cultivate new spiritual beasts. Lin Feng wanted to snatch the little beast emperor from the hands of the five true immortals. There were four main reasons. First, it wasn't easy for a creature like the little beast emperor to be born. Lin Feng couldn't bear to see the little beast emperor killed. Second, the beast tide was still ongoing. He didn't know when it would end. If it ended quickly, he might be able to save many innocent people. Third, they came to the depths of the ancient cloud heaven forest to find the place where the Lord of all spirits died. The beast tide hadn't dispersed yet. Lin Feng and the other two had no way to find the place where the Lord of all spirits died. Lin Feng naturally hoped that the beast tide would disperse quickly. Then, he, Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage could continue to search for the Lord of all spirits. Fourth, if he could save the little beast emperor and hand it over to the Wang Tianho beast emperor, then he would be able to befriend the Wang Tianho. The Wang Tianho was a terrifying existence. There was no need to talk about its own strength. It also had many terrifying subordinates. Although Lin Feng was now the lord of the Sin Realm was actually in a precarious situation. Danger lurked everywhere. After all, the Sin Realm couldn't survive alone. If they had an ally like the Wang Tianho Beast Emperor, then it would be extremely beneficial for the Sin Realm's development. If the Heavenly Emperor once again organized an army to attack the Sin Realm, then the Sin Realm wouldn't be alone. So, after considering these 4 reasons, Lin Feng decided to take action. But if he took action now, he would face many problems. First, the beast tide outside was very terrifying. If he went out and was surrounded by several beast kings, then his life would be in danger. Those beast kings wouldn't listen to his explanation. Second, the other party had 5 true immortal experts. How could it be easy to snatch the little beast emperor from the hands of 5 true immortal experts? Moreover, there seemed to be some stronger true immortals among the 5 true immortals. They weren't all low-level true immortals. Therefore, this trip could be said to be extremely dangerous. If they were surrounded by 5 true immortals, then it would be extremely dangerous. This was also the reason why Lin Feng was conflicted. But in the end, Lin Feng still made the decision to take action. He looked at Hana Jinsi and Hana Mirage and said, "You two stay here for now. I'm going out. Wait for me here." Hearing that Lin Feng wanted to go out, Hana Jinsi said, "Young Master Ji, it's too dangerous outside." "Why do you have to go out now? It won't be too late to go out after the beast tide is over." Hana Mirage nodded and said, "Yes, it's not wise to go out now. Staying here is the right choice. Is there anything more important than your own life?" Lin Feng naturally knew that the sisters were thinking about his safety. "So," he said patiently, "don't worry, I'll be fine. I'll be back soon." The sisters saw that Lin Feng had made up his mind. They could only nod. "Young Master Ji, be careful," Hana Jinsi said. Hana Mirage pursed her lips and said, "Good people don't live long, but scourges live for 1,000 years. This stinking hooligan will definitely be fine." Lin Feng was speechless. "When there's time, young master will definitely show you what a hooligan is. Who told you to call young master a stinking hooligan every day? When the time comes, I'll let you know that young master is not to be trifled with." Lin Feng didn't stay any longer. He quickly left the dark ancient forest. The wild beasts outside were wreaking havoc. Lin Feng relied on the jade pendant, and the jade pendant on the holy evil sex patriarch's body to fly towards the southwest direction of the ancient cloud forest. It seemed that the holy evil sex patriarch was hiding in that direction. Chapter 4790. It wasn't a peaceful journey. Lin Feng was attacked by many powerful beasts. But fortunately, Lin Feng's cultivation was strong enough to neutralize the attacks of those beasts one by one. Those beasts wanted to summon an army of beasts or beast king level beasts to deal with Lin Feng. But Lin Feng didn't give those beasts the chance to do so. He quickly approached the place where the holy evil sect's great ancestor was hiding. Finally, Lin Feng arrived at that area. It was a swamp that was shrouded in poisonous gas. Such a place was also a place that beasts didn't want to enter, because the poisonous gas was everywhere. Staying in such a place for too long would cause serious damage to the body. Even if one swallowed an antidote pill, it could only prevent the poison from spreading. But it couldn't prevent the damage to the body from spreading. But this place was indeed a good place to hide from the beast tide. Before Lin Feng entered the swamp, he used the great transformation technique. He changed into Gui Tianyu's appearance. But just changing into Gui Tianyu's appearance wasn't enough. Using the great transformation technique to change into Gui Tianyu's appearance might be able to fool ordinary cultivators. But it definitely wouldn't be able to fool a true immortal level powerhouse. But Lin Feng had other ways. He took out Gui Tianyu's life treasure. Gui Tianyu's life treasure was a meteor sword. It still had Gui Tianyu's aura. Lin Feng began to chant an incantation. "Great Path of Fate, please change my aura, let me temporarily merge with Gui Tianyu's aura as one." After Lin Feng's incantation, the power of fate descended from the sky, wrapping Lin Feng and Gui Tianyu's life treasure together. Lin Feng's aura began to change. The aura that belonged to him was concealed. and Gui Tianyu's aura began to spread. This was the magic of the Great Fate technique. It could deceive everyone. It was miraculous. The duration is only 6 hours, it seems that I need to find them within 6 hours. And take the little beast emperor away. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Time was of the essence. Lin Feng didn't waste any time. Once he entered the swamp, he quickly flew into the swamp. He relied on the jade pendant's sensing ability. 2 hours later, Lin Feng arrived at a mountain range in the swamp. There were more than 100 cultivators here. They should be cultivators from the 5 great powers. These people obviously knew Gui Tianyu. Therefore, many people greeted Lin Feng, who was disguised as Gui Tianyu. However, Lin Feng didn't know who these people were. Therefore, he could only nod. Then, he would fool them. Brother, I met a few young women a while ago. Their figures are absolutely mouth-watering. When we go back, let's go have a date with them. What do you think? A cultivator flew over and put his arm around Lin Feng's shoulder and said, You beast! Lin Feng could not help but curse in his heart. He was not only calling this wretched-looking guy a beast, but he was also calling the dead Gui Tianyu a beast. This guy had probably done this kind of thing many times. But thinking about it carefully, a fly wouldn't bite a seamless egg. Therefore, sometimes, one was willing to be beaten and the other was willing to be beaten. No one else could do anything about it. Lin Feng obviously didn't know who this guy who had his arm around his shoulder was. However, Lin Feng guessed that he was probably Gui Tianyu's scoundrel friend. He seemed to have similar interests with Gui Tianyu. Lin Feng imitated Gui Tianyu's tone and said, That's good. When the time comes, we have to indulge for a period of time. These days in the Cloud Heaven ancient forest are simply not the life of a human. That cultivator said. Isn't that so? I really don't want to come to this godforsaken place. We're living such a carefree and happy life outside, but we can't do anything about the ancestors' orders. We're all direct descendants, and we represent the future and hope of the sect. Even if we don't want to cultivate, there are people who force us to. Lin Feng said. That's right. However, once we leave this place, we can live happily. Thinking of this, my mood can't help but become much better. Hee, I can't wait any longer. The cultivator laughed. Lin Feng then asked, Where are the patriarch and the others? I have something to discuss with the patriarch. They are resting inside. The cultivator said. Are the other 4 true immortals here? Lin Feng asked. Yes. The cultivator nodded. Lin Feng said, Let's talk later. Following which, he walked deeper into the forest. There was a valley in the depths of the forest. The 5 true immortal realm experts were in the valley. Lin Feng actually didn't know who the Saint Evil Sect's patriarch was. However, Lin Feng still recognized him at a glance. Lin Feng recognized him from his clothes. Generally speaking, the cultivators of these large powers and sects were very particular about their clothes. Most of the time, the clothes they wore were made by their own sects and clans. There were naturally many tailor shops outside, but there was no need to go out and buy clothes for him. Moreover, many sects had rules that allowed their disciples to wear their own clothes. This would increase their sense of belonging to the sect behind them. Although the Saint Evil Sect's patriarch's clothes were different from those of ordinary disciples, there was a special symbol on the left side of his chest. That symbol was the symbol of a palace. This was the symbol of the Saint Evil Sect. Before Lin Feng entered the mountain, he had also changed into Gui Tianyu's clothes. Therefore, Lin Feng was very familiar with this symbol. The 5 true immortal realm experts were resting. Lin Feng didn't know where the little beast emperor was. However, Lin Feng already had a way to get the little beast emperor out. Patriarch, disciple has something to report. Lin Feng came to the Saint Evil Sect's patriarch and said. The Saint Evil Sect's patriarch opened his eyes and asked, What is it? Lin Feng said. On the way, disciple heard a few cultivators talking about the little beast emperor. It is said that someone wants to take the little beast emperor for himself. Therefore, they are secretly plotting this. After hearing Lin Feng's words, The other 4 true immortals opened their eyes. One of the true immortals sneered. Kid, what do you mean? What do you mean? Among the 4 of us, someone wants to take the little beast emperor for himself? Lin Feng said. One must always be on guard against others. Whoever has such thoughts knows best. Impudent! The 4 true immortals stared coldly at Lin Feng. Their eyes flashed with murderous intent. A junior dared to doubt the 4 true immortals. He was simply courting death. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.